Slightly negative start to get going here on a Tuesday morning. Futures downside, S&P about 0.4, 0.62 right now for the Nasdaq. Apple, big part of that decline so far this morning. Downside in a big way, 170 incoming here in the pre-market for Apple on a pretty ugly Chinese iPhone sales number. We'll talk about that coming up. Tesla also under pressure this morning with a unexpected pause to production over in their Berlin Gigafactory. We'll talk about that coming up as well, coming off a relatively flat day yesterday. For the overall market, we did gap higher initially, but just kind of chopped around. Throughout the session, a couple of interesting notes this morning. We'll have more Fed speak coming up. The Vice Chair Barr is going to be speaking both at noon and then 3 p.m. This afternoon, so we'll keep an eye on that. Remember, we get a double dose of Fed Chair Powell this week, both Wednesday and Thursday. Fed Chair Powell going to be in Washington testifying all day long. So mark those down as well, coming up again tomorrow and Thursday. It's Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. Tradertv.live starts now. Yeah, there's Apple right now on a daily chart. We had the ugly day yesterday. We're all the way down here right now, or 171, I guess, coming into play right now for Apple, trying to hold on to key levels of support. We'll tell you why coming up here in a second. But that has the overall market, 3 Qs, not 2, to the downside this morning as well. We're back to 441 and change on the Nasdaq. But yeah, some weakness in big tech over the past couple of days. The headline story here this morning. We'll talk about a little bit more as to why coming up here. But if you remember, yesterday it was right across the board. The Nasdaq 0.4, 0.12 for the S&P, the Dow and the Russell also to the downside. A ton of notable, not extremely important, but notable economic data coming up this morning. We'll get PMI data, ISM and S&P PMI data starting at 9:45 and then 10 o'clock. So 9:45, 10 o'clock, and then as I mentioned, Michael Barr coming up both at noon and 3:30 ahead of Fed Chair Powell. Tomorrow and Wednesday, he'll spend one day in the House, one day in the Senate. This is a semi-annual testimony that he does every year.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they grill him on this year, Brendo. Last year, obviously, it was the elevated levels of inflation. Inflation has cooled somewhat, so they'll probably be asking him along party lines as to when inflation will start coming down. I know he'll probably get some questions from the Democrats with respect to that, Brendo. But Apple, big drop in sales in China, to the tune of 24% for their iPhone 15 handset. And look at this, Brendo. Huawei, 64% year-over-year jump in handset sales in China.
Picking up some of the slack there for Huawei. I mean, we talked about it at the end of the year last year when those changes were made, when government officials weren't allowed to have iPhones anymore over in China. So now maybe we're seeing that filter through a little bit. But yeah, we'll have Apple on watch here this morning. I mean, there's a ton of things moving around. GitLab as well, pretty ugly so far here in the pre-market. Sean is back with us this morning. Good morning, guys.
Yeah, good sorry morning. About that. Now you have me instead of Obi. Is my mic even on?
You're not wearing blue today. Apparently.
Did not get the memo.
Well, everyone on board's wearing the blue.
That was a great Leaf game, by the way. There's a fight that I was at on Saturday. Oh my God.
The what's his face?
4-3 in a shootout.
That dude.
Oh, that Matt Rempe guy.
So I was at dinner and we went to a bar after to catch the end of the game. That Rangers guy, he fought 6 times in his first 6 games.
Yeah.
And it's like, so basically at that point, like everybody expects him, like he has to start a fight.
Well, that's why he's there. That's the problem.
But like every game?
I feel bad for him.
It's because, yeah.
He makes millions of dollars playing hockey. I take back that feeling bad part.
Well, that being said, I read an article about Donald Brashear.
Yeah.
And it made me like, I felt bad. I remember reading it after his career, but I ended up feeling like somewhat sympathetic for like people that are there. It's like, everyone only looks at you to start some nonsense. It's like, okay, but I'm trying to be,
Yeah.
It is what it is. The guys get paid.
You got to have the right
skills. But guess what's beating the markets up right now? Bitcoin. That's the segue we'll do. Did we not get there? Really? Did we come all this way not to get the all-time high? I think we got within $100 or I don't know, whatever. We got pretty darn close. I don't know exactly how tight this is to that 69 top, but I think we have a decent chance to get there today. Coinbase going to be in play. We were just saying GitLab, yikes. not too great. Apple and Tesla, I mean, Tesla was especially weak. Apple also still a bit in the penalty box. Lots to look at. The chips were rallying, but the way things ended off had me a little bit bearish. We were talking about that at the end of the day. Like, everything was falling. ARM was a good short, but AMD fell, and then AMD's got bad news this morning. NVIDIA is actually up today, but all the other chips are looking a little bit weaker. So it feels like a little bit of a different tone, whereas yesterday I was looking for a lot of long trades. Got some shorts that we like today that aren't just Apple and Tesla.
Good. Yeah. Well, you guys know I've been bearish for quite a while. I'm probably too bearish, but now we're starting to head back down to the downside a little bit. I mean, Apple down here at 170. We've been playing this short for a long time, man. All last week, this was like our #1 trades was short Apple. It never really got going too much until it did, and yesterday was a big one. Like, now you're broken through this 180 and you're starting to head down. So it is going to be the #1 idea here on the watch list, on the sticky note and the watch list as we move forward. It sucks. You get that bad data from China, right? We knew China was in trouble. China had stopped releasing data points. We had heard months and months ago that there was going to be some bad sales coming through from China. They actually had a decent report, Apple, but they did, caution what was happening over there. So there we go, down 24%. And then, whoa, like Brendan said, Huawei there. When the Chinese government kind of puts a foot, I guess, in the ground about Apple, some of the people are following. So it looks like Huawei right there is going to pick up some of that. But we cannot invest in Huawei unless it's probably on the Hang Seng or something like that. But maybe an AR, ADR or something.
I don't know if there's, not here, but for sure. Well, it might be on the OTC.
AR, yeah, assault rifle. Oh, yeah, tonight is the Super Tuesday.
It is Super Tuesday.
And so Donald Trump, the thing about it is.
Over.
Oh, yeah, it's already. I think the Republicans have already declared him the winner, right? Or
well, that's
maybe that happened. No, but I don't think she has anything planned. Anyways, no, what I was going to get at is there's no better president, really, for the market. Donald Trump literally uses the Dow Jones and the S&P like as approval ratings. Like I remember when he was in the first. When he was in there in the first term, he was always like, look at the stock market, baby.
It is true.
So if the stock market's still raging on here, I still think we need to buy some of these dips. So we'll continue to look for some good names here. But yeah, DWAC, Funware might be on watch. Where your hands are cold or what?
Oh, so yesterday we had someone in that was looking at the HVAC.
Right.
And it ceased being too hot in here this morning, but you got to be careful what you wish for. My hands are a little bit cold. But I'd rather, I can keep the sweater on. When it's too hot, you can't think in the afternoon.
There's got the jacket on over there. Fabian's got the little toque on.
But Sharif is in short
no
sleeves.
toque today.
I don't know what's up with that.
No toque.
She's been in a toque every day.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
There at Fabian.
So Fabian is always in the toque.
Yeah.
He actually doesn't take that off. I'm not even sure if it can come off of his head.
The Chilean nightmare is always chilly.
Wait, hold on a second. There we go.
There's a lot of bangs and a lot of top hats happening.
Joke
there today.
drums. Joke drums. Right now, SoFi is a joke.
Yeah, something.
SoFi down 10%.
Yeah.
On
What? I heard everyone talking
it's-
about that, but I
it's a
didn't load it up yet.
It's announces a convertible
you.
note offering on SoFi. So
damn.
for all of us shareholders of SoFi, I'm not going to pour one out.
There's
just gonna
SoFi.
sip
Oh,
my
you have it up
Yeah,
too,
down 10% on that here. Maybe an SSR bounce, although I looked at the chart and it was like, hey, I should be shorting into 8 when I looked at the 15-minute chart. But
I remember when I chose Hood over SoFi, but did not uninvest in SoFi. Robin Hood is blasting up.
What day was
by
it?
the way,
what was the day that we did that?
I don't know. Everyone was SoFi, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to go Robinhood. Yet I didn't invest in Robinhood. Look at this. No, it was definitely a month ago. It was definitely in this area.
It was in February.
They were both around the same price. They were like 10, 8, 9, 10 bucks, man. Robinhood $17.
Yeah, I feel like
What the?
it could have been 11 to 8, and then this one almost went 50% up.
What are we even
Anyway, it doesn't
doing?
matter.
Anyways.
I think it was like 50. Our poll was 55% SoFi and the 45%. I wish I had done the same thing.
Oh, it was 55, 45?
I think it was.
No, I thought it was way more SoFi, man.
Sure.
Yeah.
Either way, Robinhood
People were hating on Robinhood due to all that.
still breaking out.
And by the way, Bitcoin's trying to break 68 right now, so.
Get there.
Let's go. Ethereum still 4,800 top. We said that's only 37, 3,800 depending on what minute you look. So,
Got room.
anyways, I'm gonna get the sticky note going. All right, let's go back to the desk to Blue Tuesday.
Yeah, we're blending in a little bit.
I know.
Yeah, there's $750 million convertible senior note offering on SoFi this morning. A lot of people talking about that. Another one with an offering this morning, 1,300 here in the pre-market for MicroStrategy, basically holding on to yesterday's low, coming back into play, which was about $1,200. But huge gap up yesterday with Bitcoin back downside. I mean, if you're MicroStrategy and you want to drop an offering, why not wait for Bitcoin to hit all-time highs?
Yeah, why not? $600 million, Brendo, convertible notes. Not sure exactly when they're going to be due, but yeah, MicroStrategy is really pumping up here. $1,300, and that's down about 2.5% off yesterday's close as Bitcoin knocks on the door of 68,000. One group that hasn't really participated as of late in this latest Bitcoin surge has been the mining names. You have Mara, Riot, CleanSpark, Hut, all down decidedly on the day. You got Mara 3.5%, Riot 2% down as the halving event comes to fruition, Brendo. So it's going to be a lot harder for them to actually generate Bitcoin.
At all-time highs.
Yeah.
SoFi, meanwhile, as you guys were saying, 775 here on this offering today.
Seeing a particular steep drop in pre-market. Yeah, MicroStrategy, I guess, bounced back. We had it in our notes. MSTR was seeing a significant drop here, but they're not. They're not seeing anything. I mean,
they're down a little, but not
significant drop. Yeah. So right now MSTR is down that 2.5%. I just want to make that because I was like looking at it and was like, what the? But yeah, not too bad there after dropping that note for 600 million. The thing is MSTR is just a Bitcoin holding company. You know, so if they're going to raise 600 more million to buy more Bitcoin, you're not buying this company for anything other than Bitcoin. So look at this start to blast up. We had Michael Noss on the show a while ago when he was predicting Bitcoin to be in a channel. I called him out of that immediately, and he bailed on that talk and was going over to MSTR because that was breaking out through 800. So that's a fantastic call right there. Breaking through 800, now up to 1,300. And you guys see gold today as well. Gold starting to break out into all-time highs as well as GLD continues to pump higher and higher. You're going to see this chart right there. There's the breakout in gold happening right now. So yeah, crypto skies ahead. Gold, I mean, everything right now, all these alternative investments seem to get going. And I think that Bitcoin has helped gold. And what I mean by that is more diversification, different asset classes. Now people starting to head into gold as well. I mean, look, this is a pretty nice run up. I mean, this is a nice 3 or 4 day move up here. Now gold taking out those levels, starting to go higher. The only thing that's been, I haven't been able to wrap my head around why Coinbase has really gone up so much. We do know that there is a short float here. The only thing about Coinbase is as there's more talk about, like I log in and look at these altcoins and stuff like that, and I'm like, holy crap, like Solana's 133, Cardano's 78 cents. When Adara was over there first reporting about Cardano, we were in the 40s. And it was like, oh, 43 cents. I was like, yeah. And now you look down, it's 78 cents. And so a lot of these coins, you got to go onto exchange to buy them. So I'm figuring there's going to be a lot of love for altcoins, and maybe that's a play for a Coinbase. And then, of course, you get all the, these ETFs having to go in and, manage their positions and acquiring coins on exchange. So, yeah. This seems to be a little frothy to me, Neil, but hey, if Bitcoin's going to keep going up, I mean, who are we to stay and stand in the way? But I know you and I get tops and bottoms on this, so I feel like we'll have to wait.
I feel like the thing about coin, man, is like yesterday it really got going, and I missed the second 220 trade. It was something we talked about, like the 220 initially, like it tried to go and was okay, and then the second time it bounced off the 220 level, like it just absolutely flew. And felt like it was outpacing things. Now you got this double top that's breaking out on coin. Like if we see 70,000 on the daily in coin, like you have to go really far back to even, it's like a 270 level if this thing breaks 250 till you find the next resistance. It feels so top heavy, but I find that running into coin has been trouble. What's weird is, it's not weird, but on the way up, Mara and the miners were fantastic. But since Mara's earnings, the halving, there's a lot working against Mara right now, and it's right back into support levels. So down 3.5% when you're at highs, and this has been a bit of a sea change. Mara was weak the entire day yesterday. What's worth noting is that this 23 basically has been the local support. So if this does pull back down into this 23 level today, you've actually got a bit of a bounce spot. And if it can't hold 23 in Mara, I think you're in a world of trouble. next level's down to like the teens, the 16, 17 area. I think that could be worth watching. That's what you guys were talking about on the podcast was the 16, 17 levels on Mara. Although I didn't say anything about it, but yesterday I basically told everybody that you were installing a few more smoke detectors in your house.
Oh, yes.
Because you needed to have...
I need to have, I think I have 5. I think it was.
But you needed to have one. I didn't say anything about the fact that...
I didn't actually install any more.
That Baron doesn't have...
In his room, he does not.
How does he feel about that?
But
You're
not supposed to have one in every room. Yeah, I don't know how.
Yet you do, though.
He feels no ways. No, I don't have one in my bedroom.
I know. As long as you have a couple on each floor, I think you're...
What's up?
You're good to go.
I think you're good to go. I think you only need one.
You gonna get the super chat?
Yeah, I don't know. There is no. This is not a real ticker.
It's not a real symbol.
This is not a real ticker. But thank you to the franchise for dropping ticker symbol. I'll just say it. POO is dropping with a little silly face right there. So thank you so much. And I don't think in what's up to Adrian as well. I know he's been here for a minute. So thank you, Adrian, for becoming a member as well. $5 just gets you to support the show. We get Neil a new chair. We get stuff like that. So that's the stuff that comes through here. Well, everyone was mentioning about the chair.
I know. I actually have a thing to fix
we
it.
knocked that
I just
guy
haven't
down.
done it yet.
Yeah.
No, what is it?
But anyways, yeah.
I got this wrap stuff I'm gonna put on it.
Yeah, that stuff's probably not gonna work. I think you just get a new chair. Okay, so where is the other bully bear? Oh, we must have knocked it down, but we picked it up now. So, all right. Anyways, yeah, you can support the show $5 a month. It gets various chairs and stuff around here. But all right, thank you so much to everybody for crypto because crypto has been really huge, and we'll see if Bitcoin today breaks through. Man, why not 70?
Yeah, why wouldn't we test it? Why wouldn't we break it?
I bit, baby.
All right. GitLab downside here in a big way this morning, coming off earnings after the close yesterday. This is a daily chart, but we're basically back to these January levels. Huge move from that to the upside. So giving that all back to 57 here. Huge miss for GTLB.
Yeah, it was a late full year 2024 forecast revenue here, Brendo. They're also talking about a cautious spending environment due to an uncertain economy. So we'll have to see there. Yeah, it sold off aggressively on the guide. They're guiding about 725 to 730 million for the next quarter. The street was looking for 730 to 735. So a little bit light there. We'll have to see how they do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more competition in this area now as well for GitLab, but huge level here, guys, to have a look at for GTLB.
Guide. 57 is what you're talking about. So if there is an SSR bounce that isn't 57, the 200 period moving average is at $52.50. So this is your, I guess, last ditch support, the Alamo, let's call it, and then $52 is your 200 period on GitLab. It doesn't matter if you're going to beat top and bottom in this market when you're trading at highs. You know, if you guide poorly, you're just going to get slapped. Actually, you know, we've seen a couple of retailers get away with it, but you're not getting away with it if you're GitLab. I do want to lean short on this. A lot of times I'm thinking first SSR bounce, and that would make sense. Maybe the 57 level is something, and then the 52 on the 200 period I would think makes sense for an SSR bounce play. But I'm looking back into the 60. Like if this gets back to $60, if you just go one level higher on the daily chart, there was some support there right at the beginning of the year, higher lows. I think if this gets into the 60 level, I'd look for a fade at the open through that price. If it breaks out from there, okay, fine, it's short sell restricted, I'd give it up. But I don't feel nearly as bullish about this dip as a few other names in earnings season. So down 21%. It's actually still, I mean, it's not when you compare it to the year, it's basically now just flat on the year. Just gave up all its gains, but it did it quick, and I want to be shorting the pop and GitLab today.
All right, we got a super chat here from Andrew Adams. Thank you so much for that. Huge earnings. Being curious how you think it will move today. So this is AVAV. So again, I don't know too much about this stock. Obviously, AeroVironment, but it's a pretty hot stock. There's no doubt about that. And if you do look, it actually is It's 3% short float. Like you mentioned there, good earnings report last night. We're coming out on March the 4th. Market cap of only $4 billion. And look what we're doing right here. You've taken this out now. So to me, this is, if I don't know the name here, AVAV, and you're looking at it and you say, okay, let's think about what's happening. So you've based out here in between 120 and 130. Then the report comes out and it doesn't even think about stopping here in and around its past previous high. I think this name looks really great. So I don't, Andrew, it's a drone company. Is that what it is?
With government contract. Oh,
yeah, design development approach in support of. Yeah, I see the business summary here and we can get this from Trade Ideas.
The other thing too is the Chinese government just came out with increased military spending.
Okay, so there you go. So a little drone name. I like it. Thanks for the super chat. I think it's breaking out. So if you're in this name, you hold it back to 140, I think. And that's not even that big of a move. So if you can pick some up down here, 130, 140, I think I like that name. But 140 would be sort of our out on that one. So yeah, good little look there. Another name that's on the sticky note that we'll get to in a couple minutes. I don't think we have a guest or anything today. You could see come back in here into 23 or so for Palantir, down 1% as this Nasdaq continues to make moves lower. So I don't want to forget about PLTR. Has pretty whipsaw moves, especially off the open. So down near 23 is an area for me on Palantir.
All right, I just noticed EVs under pressure here once again. Rivian just testing right now. Yesterday's low, this 1050 area coming into play. There's nothing new on it this morning that I've seen, but huge day downside yesterday on heavy volume as well. So we're trying to bounce right now off 1050. Lucid down again this morning. Fisker's down again this morning. After that sell-off yesterday, we had the move on the Nissan note going into the weekend. Back higher for Fisker, but negative here again this morning.
Yeah, tough look for EVs in general, Brendo. Even Tesla included amongst them. Obviously, a bit of an issue there with their Berlin plant and accusations of arson near the power station there. So we'll have to see how that all develops in the day. But to build on your point, it's been a tough look for EVs. This year, you have the likes of Rivian that's down 55% year to date, Brendo. You have Fisker down 75%. Polestar also down about 21%, so it's been
ugly
going here.
Ugly. 2 days away from this second platform launch for Rivian as well, coming up on the 7th. So they're going to have to pull something out of a hat or somewhere to get this going back in the right direction, guys.
You better believe they got to pull something because $10 is incoming. I don't know that we get there today. But that's to watch. Like yesterday, the $11 level, I can pull it back and quickly show you. Like $11 in the afternoon was a clear top, and we closed at 10.90. So if it gets back into 11, that looks like a fade. And that's assuming it basically just followed Tesla yesterday for a lot of that move. So I would assume if Tesla goes down again, I think you just want to be short these names. But if we don't get a shot at 11, $10 was that massive earnings bottom. And then it rallied off that level. So if I see that today, before the event, I'd probably get on the bid at 1s and 2s and just go for that little scout play, maybe give it to 95 or something like that. Just try to risk small for a bounce. It's a good 5% away from that being at 1060, actually at 1058 right now. So I don't know if we get there today, but if we did, it's a double bottom from earnings, and I would play it long first. But I am shorting into the 11 level. We shorted this one yesterday. Should have prioritized Tesla. We didn't like Tesla, but we didn't get Tesla, so we shorted this instead. Still feel the same way about those two.
Funny thing is, after we go up and we go all the way back in, Tesla's just landing at sort of the same spots that it's landed at before. So I feel like this is not a name. I'm not. We'll talk about dollar cost averaging, I'm sure, as the show goes on. There's going to be lots of names that we're going to talk about, and a big one's going to be Apple. But I don't think one for Tesla is what we want to do now. Broke higher there, got some good news about corporate restructuring, got some good news about Elon and taking 21% as, yes, sir, my hoodie model friend over here.
There we go, brother.
It's Randy. Hey, how come you always come when we just seem to be talking about EVs? Like, we've been on the show for 25 minutes. We have to go get that brisket one day, too, by the way, as it gets a little bit. Hey, it's 13 degrees out right now?
I thought it was going to be high as 16 today.
Yeah, maybe. 13 degrees. What is that Fahrenheit, Neil? You're good at math.
What? Don't put me on the spot. Let me drink the coffee first. What is that like?
What are we buying Rivian tomorrow? They come out with their
68?
new model, their new little.
You saying we are buying it? Oh.
Yeah, he knows. He's been saying that. He's been saying that we're averaging into that name.
All right.
So here's Tesla down. Oh yeah, Randy, this is what I'm trying to talk about right now. Tesla, nice move up there on Elon Musk taking 21%. You know, their quarter was bad, comes back in, bounces off 180, only gets to 200, comes close to the 50-period moving average, and now dropping back in. China worries for Apple. China possible worries here for Tesla. Are we worried about selling less vehicles in China with Tesla? I am too. So I am not, which is what I was talking about, recommending a buy the dips in Tesla. None of that, Randy, and everybody out there as well. All right.
Before we go back,
go ahead.
Yesterday we actually talked about this, and I was like, not till $150.
Right.
The channel bottom on Tesla, if you look at the daily chart, like the new channel bottom sits at about, like I'm talking about the trend lines. The trend line now sits at like 150 because it keeps on trending down. And it's bounced off this a couple of times in the last year. But it now sits at the 150 level. And I'm not thinking about it until the 150s. But interesting that he says buy Rivian.
He's been saying that for a minute.
He likes,
That's
Randy
why.
loves Rivian.
Yeah.
Let's see what some analysts love or are saying that they love with some upgrades and downgrades.
Lyft getting an upgrade here from Argus. C getting an upgrade from JP Morgan. AT&T upgraded here, trading up about 1% from this Wolf Research upgrade. Metagenomics up over 5% with this Wells Fargo upgrade, one of many for this name today. Downgrades, Global Foundries getting downgraded by Susquehanna. Philip Morris International getting an Argus downgrade here. Librium downgrading Rio Tinto. And last but not least, this one's interesting. William Sonoma getting a downgrade, but a price target increase from Loop Capital. So raising the price target from 200 to 220 for William Sonoma, guys.
But just before we go anywhere, come over to the screen here because we had mentioned that, you know, Neil needs a new chair and everything. And now we got a whole bunch of new members. So Afrosippy, right there. Thank you so much. Scrooge McD is a super chat here. I trade SoFi in and out several times a week. The one time I decided to hold overnight offering. Laugh, laugh, laugh. Yeah, well, when we trade these kind of names, unfortunately, the only one laughing are the people collecting fees, it seems like. Tony C, bro. Or if you got puts, I guess. Yeah. Yo, Tony C, what's up, bro? Tony C, bro. Right there, new member. Joanne Davis, a new member as well. We've already got your super chat. Thank you so much for that. And then Kyle Corbett, although this is a name I feel like we're familiar with. So shout out to everybody that came in there and helped us with some super chats and some memberships. So again, it's pretty good. And we're not only getting the new chair, but we're fixing the HVAC and everything like that.
And some new
fancy green screen stuff.
We're always doing
doing there. Oh, and more Trader TV Live. By the way, is up. I don't have it up here personally, which is bad marketing. But there it is right there. There's more. So go to more. That's good. Thank you, Fabian, because I didn't have it up. So go to more tradertv.live right now on YouTube and follow Neil and I's positions when we're not on. Or if you get tired listening to us, you can just put this on the side as well. You'll have big winners on the bottom right, the movers. We'll be sort of altering that. We'll figure out what the best thing to put in there. And then we've got the top stocks moving around, some news, some little
economic calendar. So you know when Bar is going to speak apparently twice today.
So important.
Thank you very much, Bar. But look at it. You got Funware moving around. We'll talk about that one at some point because I know.
Got Adara putting on her mic over here.
There's
lots of stuff happening around here.
Oh goodness. Yeah, it should look. It was actually. It's been going really well, but we continue to want your feedback on that. Like, let us know what you like, what you don't like about it, how we can improve it. But I think it's great. Like, it's like a one-stop shop. Like, if you're listening passively, you can throw that on. In addition to like the Learn to Trade in the middle of the day, it comes on before we're here. So someone was asking, why do you guys start at 8 o'clock? It's so that you can have the dashboard up before we jump live, so you have an idea what's moving, what isn't. Look, Lyft was an upgrade yesterday. And I wasn't really all that bullish on it. It ended up selling off, but it did drag Uber a little bit with it. So Lyft is up 1%. I don't really care much about that. It's more what happened in Uber here yesterday, getting into a big double top at 82. And it failed that 82 level pretty hard. Like, it wicked the 82, got to 82.20. It's a double top on the daily. So I'm looking short into that 82 level. If it breaks the quarters, I think it's a breakout trade, but this is what I'm feeling a little bit bearish on some stocks. When you reject a break like that, I want to short the pop back into it if we get close yesterday on Uber. So another upgrade for Lyft. I love Uber. I own them in the long term. I think it can break out, but when I see resistance like that rejected and the market looking weak, I want to short into it.
The segment brought to you by BluSky Trading Company. Earn a live futures brokerage account in as little as 2 days with $0 funded setup fee, free coaching, and advanced risk controls when in funded trade from a wide variety of futures, including Nasdaq, S&P currencies, energy, treasuries, commodities, crypto, and more. Go check out our friends over at BluSky Trading. Let's get a look at the overall market. Speaking of the futures, Sharif's going to do that.
51.38, guys. That's what we closed off yesterday. The overnight high is only 51.35, though, as we're on our way down here on the ES, really near the lows at 51.14. So let's go ahead and say support at that 5100 level, and resistance is going to be where we couldn't break through and hold yesterday, which is that 51.50.
All right, let's get into everything else you need to know here. If you have not done so yet, make sure you grab that. Absolutely free from us to you every single morning. When you wake up, you just go to your inbox, and if you're waking up at 8:30, it's probably a problem anyways, but it'll be there before we come on at 8:30, I promise, some days. 2.2% here for Apple downside this morning in a pretty big way with this Chinese iPhone number. Bit of a problem for them, 171 trying to hold here, but bigger level probably a little bit further southbound for Apple today.
Yeah, it's been a tough first 6 weeks. It started out 2024, Brendo. Their sales are down 24% for the iPhone in China. But look, there is growing competition here. It's not just from Huawei. It's from Oppo, Xiaomi, Vivo as well. They're all releasing their newer gen iPhones that are competing, their newer gen phones, which are competing with the iPhone, obviously. But the big one here, the one that's really grown year over year on the quarter is Huawei, 64% after being able to maneuver outside those sanctions imposed in 2019 and 2020. Preventing it from having advanced chips for the 5G technology.
I've seen some of those Oppo phones, or reviews of them anyways, online. They're actually pretty cool. They a lot of nice features and great camera in them as well. So here we go. Continuing downside action, guys, for Apple today.
Apple yesterday, obviously Tesla moved more, but I won't pretend that Apple wasn't the number one on the list for looking for shorts. It was like the first thing we wanted to go short. I think it was like the first position we did end up having to the south side yesterday. And it ended up, it crossed the 175 mark and then closed at 175, but the flat bottom break happened. Like you gave up the 180 level, you gave up the 77 level. The only good thing is it bounced off 74. At the end of the day, and now you get these China sales numbers that are disappointing. I still think eventually there's going to be a bit of a bounce here. It'll be a good catalyst when they have their event and basically launch the AI features as they're hinting to mid-year embedded in the phone. I think that's going to be great for them. But until then, you got the mid 160s on the daily for a support level. You got 170s a round number. I'm shorting back every even dollar. I'm going to look for curls to 174. Just to keep it simple, because you're kind of gapping through some levels here. And if you bounce off 170, that might give you something to short into. I'd rather take shorts into that level as opposed to looking for a break at that price. I mean, breaking 170, you're down 3% at that point. So I'd rather, it's Apple still, so I'd rather be shorting pops instead of trying to hit that bottom break. It's a little different yesterday when it was sort of taking out levels and you're shorting off 175. This is a little more than it tends to move usually, so I'd expect the short pops today.
Yeah, look, I'm right. It's my number one name on the sticky note today. We've been shorting Apple for a while. Well, the sticky note will be out in 2 seconds. It's just a little late. We've broken through 180, and we're starting to go to the downside. So anything into yesterday's close, we want that. We want this 174 short. So we're sitting there right now. Any kind of a pop up to that level, we will be shorting it. But we could get the gap to VWAP again. So VWAP right now is 172. So you are gapping. 2% on Apple's a gap. I mean, normally Apple won't open up down 2 or 3%. So this is a good. I don't remember the last time we gapped like into this. I mean, we probably could have done it the last week or so because we've had some bad headlines. But generally, Apple will open up kind of where the market is and then float around. But right now, you're 3 times. So this is a gap, and I want to fade this. I'm not buying Apple for a long time from here. I don't have any bids right now on this name, but Apple not. I'm putting it in right now. I don't see a catalyst right now for Apple. So we'll have to wait. They have their AI event coming out. We'll hear some more reviews about the headset and all that. I'm sure that's going to be great. I love the service business. And look, I mean, I'm looking for another iPhone for my kid as well. Like, there's no problem with the products. It's just not selling as much in China. China's had some bad prints the last little while. I feel like Tesla's also getting hit on some stuff like this. And then honestly, I don't think anybody in the US is going to be buying any of these Chinese phones unless you really want to be tracked by the US government. That's pretty hot, or the Chinese government. But I would stay the course with Apple, let it fall down. And like I said, this is one of those names that, to quote Jim Cramer again, you hold it, don't trade it. And I feel like you could buy some dips here, but I'm not ready yet. I just want to see a catalyst. Like, I'd rather have this thing fall into 160 and then hear some good news and buy it at 165 than buy it on 165 on the way down, because I don't know where it's going to stop.
October lows, that's the 164.
Yeah, so yeah, I feel like back to October lows, that would kind of make sense. And then I feel like if you have 10 grand to invest, you can start to put some money to work. It's not going to fall that far, because as long as Mr. Buffett's alive, there's going to be some shares to be bought, I would imagine. So, Apple down here at 171. We've seen sort of that oxy bottom. Maybe Apple is in around the 160s.
Speaking of 180, Tesla inbound here to 180 this morning. European Gigafactory Berlin gets shut down unexpectedly on a suspected fire that was arson, they're saying, or they suspected to be arson. But this is on top of production delays we had out of the same factory going back to the beginning of the year on supply demand or supply concerns. They had to shut down Berlin for a couple of weeks, I think it was, in January to deal with that. So here we go again. This is 180 on the daily chart for Tesla.
Yeah, a lot of stop-start in that particular gigafactory. Look, it comes as Tesla looks to expand its plant there near Berlin to about 100 gigawatts. They're looking to double the capacity there, and they eventually want to be able to produce about 1 million cars per day. That's raised the ire of a lot of environmentalists there who took to the forest near that gigafactory, occupied it there, built tree houses, and then lately we've been hearing about more, kind of activist type events like this, like the arson. So we'll have to wait and see here, Brendo, but it's nothing new for that particular area of the world.
Yeah, it was 7+% yesterday. Here's another 3 on top of that. It's notable as well. It was the highest volume day yesterday since earnings, or just after earnings anyways, for Tesla, guys.
Heavy selling off that open. Breaking that one, it was a 198 to 205 level for like, and then just flat bottom broke it out. The only issue is you got 180, that's the next support, and we're pretty much right there. So I think it's got a wide berth on it today. Apple doesn't have to pop that far to be a short. This one, it's like 85 to 87. You're too tight to the 80 level. I'll let it breathe a little bit. As I said, Rivian back into 11 in front of the event or off the $10 level. I feel like that'll be something I get into a little bit sooner than Tesla.
Chaos.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Tesla. I mean, if it breaks the 180 level and is trending down and kind of flat bottom breaks it and does what it does yesterday, just look to join. But I feel I'll be shorting a pop in Rivian at 11 before I get a shot at Tesla.
So yesterday, I just took the day off. It was a crazy busy weekend. Finally took one off. And then we went, and then I said this. I said, guess where? And then this was 21 responses.
Costco.
Thank you for all the responses. Yeah, it was pretty obvious right there. So, day off, and I'm just like, yep, there we go. So that's where we are. And then everybody, pretty much every single person got it right. What's up to Dewey here? Sam's Club. Yeah, so everybody, we weren't trying to fool anybody, but there it was, Costco. Costco actually reporting March 7th. So, big report coming for Costco there. I'm excited for it. We'll see where that goes. Tesla, I've sort of just said my piece there a little bit about China. I think I think Tesla could bounce off of 180. It's just been such a psychological level. And I said no matter where we come from, we just dropping right back into that exact same level. So maybe next time we'll actually take some profit. I mean, it was really nice to say you're long at 186 was my last dip buy when the thing's over 200 and you look smart. And then 2 days later, you're out of the money. So you got to be careful with this Tesla. That very bottom there is 170. If I'm going to say very bottom, I should actually look it up. Okay, so that's, 175 basically. So I feel like that's a level where I think we could actually get to that almost off the open. So watch out for 175 dip buys. I mean, 180 would be a good level to start it at, and then if you break lower than that, maybe you drop it at 179, 178, and then wait to see if you can get something down there. There's a name that I put on the sticky note that we're not going to get to because it's not really too many catalysts are on anybody's mind right now, but this is a big retail week. We did have Target come out this morning, right? So that's going to come out next, so I'll leave that story. But with that, I do want to look at Amazon. So this would be a much better long for me if we fall back in. And I wrote down on the sticky note, which is now out. You can go find it on, maybe not on Instagram yet, but on X for sure. And that was Amazon dropping into these 170s, like low 170s, 174 is what I wrote down here. So I feel like Amazon's probably a better name to pick up on weakness, but let's go to the desk now and talk about some retail.
All right, as you mentioned, let's go to Target here. TGT up 9% on a nice beat across the board. Even though holiday sales came in a little bit light for Target, we're still back to 165 here. Yeah, it was the forecast beat, Q1 beat. Nice look for Target.
Yeah, but like what you said, they're still expecting another weaker year of sales. But it's not for the reasons that you think. It's not because of the shrinkage. It's not because of the margin compression. It's not because of the transportation costs. It's just weaker consumer demand. So the consumer is not spending as much. However, they did do well on the earnings report that they just reported on. Earnings rose 58% year over year. So they reported earnings of about 1.38 billion. Compare that to last year on the quarter, it was about 836. Revenue also grew, Brendo, not as much, about 2% year over year, beating the guides there.
It's worth noting. Yesterday was very, very red for Target. So yeah, it's 9%. 9% is 9%, but we were down pretty big yesterday ahead of this move.
I mean, that's fair. A lot of things rolled over a little bit yesterday, especially at the end of the day. I did get into SoFi at the 8. It bounced. It got to 8, pulled back. There was a refresher at 95. I just joined that. I'm going to give it to the 805, 810 area. But Target, we don't always love earnings plays. And when you get a move, you do want something trading in a new range. I'll get that out of the way. Like, that's a good sign. You're breaking out. You definitely have some juice past the 160 level because that's where things fell apart going back to May of last year. Wow, it's crazy we're already in March. So that was almost a full year ago. So that's the level to look at the open. I look back at that daily chart and say if it can hold the 160 level, then you've got some room to rally. Part of this might have something to do with, as Brendan said, like you had fallen down and held the 150 level pretty much the entirety of the day. Because you kind of opened up down there falling in. You didn't really do anything. You just went sideways off 150, so there was accumulation down there, and now you busted it out. So it does feel a little bit bullish. Just has to hold on to that 160 level. I always expect that little shimmy dance at 9:30 on an earnings play, and it doesn't mean that I'm in love with being involved with it. We're in SoFi already. I already like some Rivian, which wasn't on my list at the beginning. We're going to talk about the chips as well. You got GitLab. So there's a heck of a lot of Apple to dig into. So I think Target will probably go a little bit on the wayside, but the 160 level on the daily, that's where I would look for a bounce play at 9:30.
Some of you guys talking, hey, it is great to be back, but like I was only gone one day over here, you know what I'm saying? So let's, we'll wait till we take some real vacations around here with summertime coming up, feeling like summer right now here in Toronto. So I wrote down Amazon that we wanted here on the sticky notes. You guys can go find that at Trader TV, Sean. It's out today. So I'm not for Target. I mean, just like what Neil mentioned there, look, it's a nice beat. But again, this is a gap beat again, up 9%. It wasn't supposed to move 9%. I think the expected move was 6% on Target. So a nice beat here. This is what Danielle talks about, Ms. Shea, I presume, with options. And that is that when you get this big beat, you can expect an extended move. So extending into the next day. Obviously, we can see this is extended right now. Target 9.5%. You know what? Let me just go over to earnings market chameleon right here. Let me just double check that. So today, March 5th. There's okay, my bad. I thought it was one of these ones. No, the expected move there was 7.9. Tonight, Ross is only 5.7. So, so 7.9. They're getting 9.5. So, I take back a little bit of that. This move is a little more than expected, but not crazy. Would like to see this one get going. So I feel like a pullback into VWAP is where we're at. But with strong, I mean, look at Target beating. right? We've seen Costco's chart is at all-time highs and just pointing to the right and still going up. So Amazon's doing a very, very similar dance here, but yesterday it was pretty weak. We saw a real beat down in a lot of these high flyers yesterday, right? Especially names that have made new highs. Amazon's not quite there. We talked about this name, not quite back to all-time highs yet for Amazon, but I like a dip buy opportunity in this. Very weak here, weaker than the market today again, or in line. I like Amazon buying it in and around here. The 200 period is 175 flat. I'm looking to pick something up in and around there. That's on the 20-minute chart. So Amazon, a name to look at. Bitcoin's falling in a little bit here. Nothing really to worry about, 67.5, but look at Coinbase. You see what I'm saying? Like Bitcoin goes down 200 bucks and Coinbase just dropped, I mean, on no news, unless there is news, I don't. $230 we just hit. And a couple minutes ago when Neil and I were sort of talking about crypto at the beginning of the show, this name was trying to break out at 237, 238. So just be careful here with Coinbase. I feel like this is going to be, honestly, a banger short if anything goes wrong with BTC today. And it doesn't even have to be wrong with Bitcoin. Just like if it goes down $1,000, like which would be absolutely nothing.
That's not that much.
Like I'll take that as dips. Then I feel like Coinbase really, really comes in. And I couldn't be happier, man. 2 podcasts ago, and thank you everybody for supporting the podcast. Brendan told me we had record viewership, so that's fantastic. Look, the thing about it is, we bought iBit and talked about Bitcoin at 51,000 2 podcasts ago. Last Tuesday, when we had that massive move down in crypto, massive move, it went from 64 to 60, we bought some of this thing at $34. So I'm really, really excited about these. See, damn, my screen just did the blinking again. I'm really, really excited. It's because of this down here. I'm really, really excited about these crypto ETFs. And I think it's really starting to go and make a difference for ETHE as well. So just get ready for all of this to continue to blast higher here. Look at Ethereum. This is really starting to go. And we're only at 37, 3,800 for Ethereum. All-time high is 48. There's a lot of gas, I feel like, left in this tank. So, all right, while talking about gas, we get a little bit of hydrogen pumped into this tank with GitLab and not working out too well for hydrogen engines there, Neil. But GitLab, of course, is a AI engine. And let's go find out about coding and what's up with GitLab.
Down. What's down with GitLab today? It's not good. All the way back to, what is this, early January levels on the daily chart. We're way down here this morning after a miss. And I was just counting here. There's 10 at least negative notes on the stock this morning from analysts as well.
Yeah, the software developer here, Brendo, forecast full year 2024 revenue and profit well below the Wall Street estimates, basically citing a cautious spending environment due to an uncertain economy. They lost about, they're looking to lose about $12 to $13 million in profit for this next quarter, which includes about a $15 million expense that they had to bring everybody who works remotely into a conference there, which they seldom do anyway. Not a good look for them on the day.
I mean, it's been a nice move on the year so far for GitLab, so just giving most of that back at this point.
Yeah, it's like it's bouncing a little bit. We talked about the $57 level on GitLab. This is it's a January bottom, so it's given up all of its gains on the year. The guide's a problem. We all know this, and that's going to be trouble. But I just look back to 60, and the aftermarket show we're sort of saying if this can't hold the 60 level, that's the big one until it gets to 57. On the way back upside, I'm looking for the short into that 60 level. If the market's going to be down, I think there's a little bit more pressure on these earnings names that give the poor guide and then try to do the old SSR bounce. I'd rather look for those spots to fade it, and that would be at that $60 price. Look for a little bit of weakness there. If it just blasts through at 930 and there's never any slowdown or curl, then I would just look for weakness in and around that to the 60, 62. But I don't start looking short till it gets to the 60 level. 57 is come and gone for an SSR bounce. If that had happened at the open, I probably would have taken a shot at it because there's nothing that sets up a little bit better for an SSR bounce today than GitLab. I know Stitch Fix is out there as well. We didn't even talk about Stitch Fix this morning. We mentioned in the aftermarket show, but the volume difference between GitLab and Stitch Fix is pretty stark considering the price difference. Stitch Fix has done 100,000 shares and it's a $3 stock. Not very interesting. It's GitLab that you want to trade today.
Yeah, it's GitLab. I don't, we'll be looking at GitLab, I would think, for sure. I mean, one name here that I don't know if you guys were on this at all yesterday. What do you got there? A little chocolate chicken muffin there? Oh yeah, okay. And a croissant? Wow. All right. Fabian throwing down over there.
Yep.
The thing is, when you work beside Ramin, you better get her whatever the hell she wants. Like if she wants a croissant and there's not one there, you better go to Tim Hortons to get one.
He does.
If Ramin says, "Hey, I want like a banana nut muffin," and there isn't one there, Fabian.
Oddly specific.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, it is pretty specific, actually. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Banana nuts.
So thank you for all the smoke alarm love in the chat. I love you guys as well. So here's ARM. ARM yesterday, huge move down right off the jump, man. I mean, that 150, we've talked about that level a couple times. That's going to be a hard thing to get because right off the open, I could imagine how wild this is. But you broke the pre-market low there and never looked back. So I'm sort of thinking something similar right there. Yesterday night, or I guess into the close, but it didn't really happen too much. You broke through this 138 level. So I don't know if we get back up to there, but to me, ARM is a short at 138. And twitched my arm, but I will short this thing into 138, into 140. The 50-period moving average is right there. I'm going to be short ARM today. So for me, it won't be GitLab, it'll be ARM, and we're going to talk about AMD. I feel like I'm talking about it, and we're just leading right into the next topic here. So yeah, I'm going to be looking at an ARM short as we get closer and closer to lockup, right, with SoftBank.
Next week.
So
today.
SFTBY. This is another way to play this, by the way. If you have ARM shares, so this is SoftBank, you see they've had a huge move up because of ARM, right? They're going to hold 90% of that. So we're going to have to watch out to see what happens here coming out, because if they don't sell anything and ARM decides to rip up and SoftBank comes out and says, we're not divesting any of this. So then the next thing you know, these guys could break out through 30 bucks as well. So I feel like there's a little something happening here with SoftBank and ARB. Could be sort of a combo trade, but we'll wait to see what happens. Let's go talk about AMD again, a top stock on the sticky note today.
Yeah, 2% to the downside here for AMD. First, it was NVDA running into roadblocks from the U.S. government on Chinese AI chip sales. Now, AMD dealing with the same thing. So another one that's had a huge run in the past week or so.
Yeah, so this new latest chip may actually have to require a license. So that's an entirely different process here for AMD. You'll recall NVIDIA did the exact same thing with the US regulator. So what they're doing here is they're taking some of these chips, they're redesigning them, reprogramming in a way where, number one, they run a little bit slower. Number two, you can't overclock them once you send them to the actual consumer. That was a concern about the state with the State Department, is that they would be reprogrammed once they reach their destination. According to AMD, that's not possible. We'll have to wait and see how this happens.
Yeah, sitting here at 200, guys, this morning for AMD.
Yeah, it's more the way things ended up yesterday than anything else. I know there's the news there, and it's not necessarily good news. You know, obviously sales in China, if you can dig in a little bit there and they recover, I think that's a boon. And we saw NVIDIA sometimes be under pressure and then, of course, immediately recover when they had their concerns with getting approvals. It's more that you were breaking out the 205. Like yesterday, we were long above the 205, a lot of it at that 08 level in VWAP in the afternoon, and then the lower high at 08 pulled right back into 05, and back into that 05 level is what I want to look for today. If we get into the 05, I'm looking short on AMD. It just feels like a little bit of a temporary top. If it breaks out from there, I think it's an easy step away, get out of its way and all that good stuff. Sean was asking, did we look at ARM? ARM was what we were short in the afternoon for obvious reasons. When the chips were running yesterday, ARM was not. It's just that simple. So I like it pretty much the same way I did in yesterday's trade. The only difference is instead of 142, your resistance is at the previous close. So I'm with you on the 138 level, but AMD 205, I'm going to be looking for some shorts there. If there's a bullish name, it's just weird. It's down 1%. I'm not saying I want to be long right here on Intel, but the gap down on earnings had resistance at 45. It then kept on rejecting $45. Today, it's going to open hugging 45. So if it can resist falling apart all over itself at this 45 level and holds the opening range above 45 even and takes out the top, that would be something stair-step to yesterday's high that would be good. But I need to see it trending. I need to be completely convinced that there's buyers above the 45 level before I consider that long in Intel. So it's not necessarily on my list of, hey, we're just going to get in at that price. Like I'm going to short AMD if it gets to 05. I'm not just buying 45 at the open on Intel. I need to see it making higher lows off that level. But it is there in my mind that it broke out from that earnings plunge on what was the more beaten up name and kind of reversed that yesterday.
Yeah, we wrote down the same levels. We wrote down 204, 205. It's on the sticky note. You can go find it at Trader TV Sean right now as we get ready to get locked and loaded here. It's 9:25, so let's just see if there's anything. Just trying to load up these imbalanced locators right now for us, and we'll see if there's anything on the sell side rate. Oopsies, that was the wrong thing. Here it is right here. IBIT. Looky, man. When's the last time we saw IBIT on here? Never for me. But there's Bitcoin with a nice little buy. On there. NEO with, I think someone said NEO was all-time lows. I didn't have a chance to look at that. It's not all-time lows if someone said that, but breaking through $5. Because I remember these guys coming in at around $2.
It's a 52-week low.
It's definitely a 52-week low. So this is going to be an exciting name to look at, as you can see. Breaking below 5 right now. You know what I need? I need a quantum computing name other than Google. I was in one. I'm going to have to go look it up because I think that might be the next thing. Apple is really going now as well. Nice move down from 170. So if you do have that 170 bid, Professor, get ready. Here we go. It's going to get filled, I would think. And I think this could be good.
Right at the
like, these are buy levels, right? So I don't have a problem with that. Apple coming in right now. SoFi, we talked about that. I know Neil was and still is in it. So SoFi off of bad news, obviously with some raising of some debt here, or capital, taking on more debt with shareholders. Nice move down into 760. Alibaba with a sell. This is another name, guys, that we got to watch out for. I recently bought this one at 72. Thought we were pretty smart when it was up here at 78, falling back in. We may have to get out of Alibaba. Like, China bad, man. China bad. I know that's really great analysis, but China's been bad. And if you're looking at FXI, I was almost thinking about picking some up, like dropping all the Chinese names and maybe just picking up the ETF if we could fall back into like 2150, somewhere in there. And that way it's kind of like you're not specific to one name, but if you think that China is either blowing a little bit of smoke, which I do a little bit, or it's an election year, so we're going to have probably some negative rhetoric spit about China possibly during some debates and whatnot. So I could see this getting down into the low 20s again. We're already there, but even lower than that, maybe 10% more down here for FXI. It's Brankel's in the building right now, so there's Brankel's. But okay, so we're getting ready to get locked and loaded here. Oh, and Rob. Oh, we got a couple.
Brankel's shaved.
Yeah, I noticed
got
that.
The,
a couple things
fresh
happening.
And clean look. And I told him now he has to. He didn't say anything, but he had a great SMCI trade. So now he has to keep it.
Oh, okay.
If you're being superstitious about it, if traders are going to be superstitious, he's got to make sure.
He's shaved.
It's like if everyone that watches the show thinks you look better with the beard, then it behooves you to make sure that you keep the beard.
Depends what your mom said.
Like some people I know. But that NEO, for NEO, we didn't get to the earnings here, but not necessarily great for NEO. It's not all-time lows, but $5 is a pretty big psychological level for NIO. If it bounces off of this, there might be some shorts to pop. But if there's a few million shares on the bid, it could be worth like a little bit of a shot off of that level. I haven't really seen anything.
We smash Apple early,
down there
honestly.
just yet.
The market's going to get killed here.
There's not a lot of size. I can't see the size in the bid at 5, but if it's got like a few million shares on it, it might be worth a quick scalp trade off the open. We got 90 seconds to go here.
I don't know.
We did talk about some big cap. Oh, you know what we didn't mention?
What's that?
No, we haven't even NVIDIA.
NVIDIA?
So NVIDIA is actually still green, and mostly because it did this big rally in the pre-market, 845. Like it went $20 to pre-market from the time I sat down, and I don't wonder if that 865, where things right at about 330, you saw things consolidate and fall at $865. So I don't wonder if that 865 isn't the big level for it. If it's breaking out that, I gotta start considering what to do about that AMD, because I assume if it gets to that price, AMD will have 205 short. Back to Sharif quickly.
Okay. Hey guys, today we are doing shorting a trading range breakdown on how to trade with Adair and I, so make sure to catch that 11 to 2 today. trading a shorting range breakdown?
Are you sure, Sharif? Trading a short range
Shorting
breakdown.
a range breakdown.
Shorting a trading range breakdown. Well, we'll figure it out.
That was actually Tesla yesterday, in some ways, I think.
Perfect. So perfect.
Yeah.
What the hell just happened to Intel? Intel just got clocked as well from 45 down into 44.50 as we are ready to get open. So you're rocking with us right now. So with only 15 seconds left to go, I'm debating an Apple short. We're waiting now Intel 45 if that can get through. I'm going to watch Apple. I might just smash this 170, but we'll take a 170, 150 where VWAP is for now if it does come back up with only 3 deuces.
And 1. Oh, that was fast.
All right, here we go, and here we go again. Welcome to the mayhem that is the market. And right now, ARM making a move down to 135. There goes Apple. Apple just bounced off 170 clean there. Pretty nice move, man. 170.20 as a bottom. So we'll have to watch out for that one. And then AMD, I'm just going to look at some names that I have on radar. So AMD looking at 2 bills. I don't think I want to smash that, but wouldn't blame anybody for that. That's a big key level. Intel making a move back higher, so that's interesting. Maybe a possible short there, but here goes AMD, guys. It's going to take 200. I'm not taking it, but it's going there.
Yeah, I was short at 801. 10s got broken off the open on SoFi, so I'm going to jump out of it. It has to show me weakness back down around that 8, or we're just going to have to sit it out. Was looking to short the pop at the $8 level. We'll take the 10-cent hit. GitLab, we're looking for weakness, but no curl. It busts through 60. You're still seeing it go through 62. We'll let this one calm down a bit. I did want to short it around this price area, but it's not there quite yet. Apple, were to get to 71s, never mind. I thought maybe it got to that 71.5. Missing a bit of data on yesterday's chart, but yeah, it looks like it's going to get back up to those tops. You're seeing a bit of a press higher, so I want to be a bit patient for short some of these pops. AMD is not popping. It's actually just to the downside on advanced micro devices, only falling.
Yeah, I was actually opposite of that, and I broke my own rules here. So we went short Apple early. It's paying off now because we're starting to get out, so it's all good here. But Apple with a nice little move down. We're short at 07s right now. Let's put a bid at the 80s, and there it is right now, ringing some registers early on Apple, but it's early, and we're not going to try to pretend like this is a name that we're in a lot of shares. So
bye-bye, ARM.
Bye-bye. Yeah, darn it. Yeah, so ARM is making that move now. Do we want it at this level? We wrote down 138, man. The best it got to was 136.50. So that name's done. I'm going to stick with Apple at a possible reload here.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit frustrating. So once we get to the half on Apple, that's where I want to start in on that one. AMD just failed 200, though. So before I get into that, it might be AMD coming back in. Yeah, it just failed the 200 level. I don't think we're going to see the 205, but we did want to be fading this one on some weakness. So if we get it at the bottom of this range, I give it to the pre-market lows, which is 250. I am going to short pops and ARM. It's just a matter of where. Got to be able to pick out a spot because we're not going to get the price we want on this thing.
No.
That's come and gone. We're not getting 38s. 35 could be a little bit reasonable. We'll have to let this one calm down a little bit. A little frustrating for us, but that's the nature of the market. This happened yesterday on Tesla too, where like Tesla just continued to drop. Apple dropped right away, and we had to be patient getting into it. So AMD back through 200. I want to get some out if it gets that past that first $50, and then we'll go from there. But ARM, bit of a swing and a miss there. Oh, and I missed the reentry on SoFi. SoFi came right back under 8. I tried to punch 8s on the way back in. Missed.
Yeah, that's SoFi. It's going to be a tough trade with that news, so we'll wait. I'm just kind of digging.
Easy break.
Yeah, I'm digging. Oh, the short? Oh, on AMD?
No. SoFi retook $8 and
okay.
immediately flushed, but you couldn't hit the bid. It's at. Yeah, what are you going to do?
I didn't know if we were talking about AMD because, so first of all, we're only in one name, it's Apple. You can see my position. But I thought maybe Neil was talking about AMD there because we just broke 2 bills. So again, I don't think we're doing anything crazy here on AMD, but here's a 200 break and it's starting to go down. So I feel like that's a really brave position to take. So congratulations if you did it, because now you're starting to reap the benefits there. As I go short, the name that I thought we wanted to go short, but it looks like that 170 is going to be a spot here for Apple, trying to break back above 172. So too much of a break higher than this, we got to get out. So 172, like 20s or so. Let's get out of Apple, but it's starting to make a move higher right now. AAPL making me feel bad about this short, while AMD is starting to go to the downside.
AMD just bounced hard off 199. I got Phil down there 20 something. I don't know. Well, it doesn't really matter at this point because it's right back to the 200 level. Looking for the reload on advanced micro devices to see if we can pick it up at that 200 and reload that trade, get back in for the buck. I'm also in Apple in front of the 172. Tesla, just very quickly, want to make sure we're covering everything. Tesla going absolutely sideways. Nothing to be seen here on Tesla. However, Rivian is flying into $11. Not the way that I thought this was going to happen. Like, I expected Tesla would be weak, or sorry, what Tesla would be bringing Rivian into this pop if it was going to happen. But the $11 level, it's flying through. I need to see weakness. I'm not just going to blindly short this into that level. That seems a little bit crazy. I like the shorts at $11 here, but I'm not just going to blindly get into it. I need to see it like slow down at least a little bit. We reloaded on AMD. We'll get some back at the 199.50. Apple's starting to work back into that downside. What is going on in that? Now that Rivian, I'm like, what is going on with Rivian? That is wild.
Oh, I didn't even notice what was going on with Rivian.
It's flying.
Okay, so again, into tomorrow, right? I mean, Brendan and I both, you've talked about it. We've all talked about this. We had Randy on earlier, and that was trying to figure out, if we wanted to buy ahead of that number, ahead of their release tomorrow for their, what is the proper thing to call that? It's a new form factor, right? I know it's the R2, but
but it's form factors.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So here we go.
By the way, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say we just covered some Apple down there, so it's a little stronger than we thought. It's going to be the only name I'm in. So we're green on it, but I'm going to try to reload this near 172. If we take this 172.20 though, then we want to get out. So here goes Apple. Nice move back in for Apple. Let's take some more out here if we can. I just bid 28. Didn't happen. Let's take a 38. Now it comes back in for Apple. So a nice little 30-cent winner here on AAPL. But again, don't want to count the chickens too much before they hatch. I still think there's a big move to happen in Apple, and it should be happening to the downside. So I'll bid a little bit more here at 170, but then I want to try to be able to hold this. We have a little bit less than half. There it goes, a little bit less than half of our initial position. Apple's a pretty big monster here.
Yeah, I'm covering some in front of the 171, but I got a new position on AMD. We reloaded the 200, it took out the 200 half level, and then rejected 202s. So it rejected 202s. I'm back into it underneath the 50 off the 202 level. So initial short off the 200, got 199s. Now it's back into the upside, and I want to short off this 202 level, shorting the pops there. ARM, we said we'd get into ARM. It's trying to pop now. 135 was what I wanted to work off of, and it's bouncing a little bit. So a little bit of a move here in ARM. If we can get it back to the 135, I want to look to fade that. We'll see what else is. There is a halt on that. Okay, it's Fufu. Halted to the downside.
Fufu?
It's a stock from yesterday.
Oh, okay.
There's a proper way to pronounce it, but it's
Chinese name, or do you know what that was? It seems like it might have.
I don't know. I can't.
All right, we'll look
I can't not chuckle, but it's down 28%. It's a down halt for Fufu. Reading it out isn't actually any better.
I can't even talk about it in a straight face. That's why I thought you were joking.
That was the problem yesterday. I couldn't either.
Okay, we are not foo-fooing around right now because we got a banger right now, a banger and an alarm. This is a big trade here for me on Apple. We're now 75 cents in the money. I'm going to take out one more piece here at 05, and now we'll see if this one will really want to go down. We do have some numbers coming through. Services PMI coming out in 7 minutes, so that's going to be a good one. Let's go Apple. Are we going to get into this right now? It looks like we may. We are short 171.70 right now. So. Okay, in my ear, users from Binance now feeling crypto withdrawal problems. So that's Binance, not a shortable name, or not a tradable name. You can maybe look at Binance Coin, but
Coin is flying off that, by the way.
Okay, that was my next thing is that you can either look at the Binance Coin or look to see what's happening with Coinbase. So there goes Coinbase. So I'm just hearing it in my ear again. I do have the Benzinga Pro in here, and it's good for little stories like that, but like last week we had something about I don't want to report stories other than what I hear, so I'm just going to tell you that where I get the story from, because last week there was something about Apple and hearing some weakness, and it turned out to be right, but that story didn't actually develop. So okay, there it is right now. There's the dollar, so we can now officially hit the dollar club there on Apple as we touch down into 170.70. Maybe here comes Adara with that news as well, maybe.
Yeah, I just have just an update here. Target up over 12%, really strong volume here. Mentioned earlier as well, they did beat earnings that higher expected to mostly higher than expected full year forecast, but the first quarter forecast a bit lower than expected. So some mixed earnings missed forecast from Target, but they're up over 12% right now, guys.
Apple working, I'm into Rivian now. Rivian wicked that 11 level pretty decently, but look at how strong this was at the open. Didn't really see. Obviously, we're talking about the new form factor. I guess that's what we're calling it.
Yep.
So breaking out yesterday's 11 level, wicking through here, which we were short basically the same range in yesterday's trade. So short at 11, I just got tagged at 90s, and it's right back up to those tops. So I have to watch out for that. I can tell you the reversal's on in AMD. We got 99s. I was just short off the O2s, getting filled underneath the halves, and then it took out the top. So I'm going to back off of AMD, wait patiently for a little bit of ARM, if we can even get ARM at this point. Do like that one a little bit better. Apple bouncing off 171, so I'm
Apple
short at
bottom.
171.90s. I still think that can be trend down. The market is holding down 1% on the Nasdaq, so I'm still thinking we can play some shorts here. But the one that got away is, okay, ARM's starting to come back up now.
What the hell's going on with AMD? AMD, everything's going nuts in this chip space, man. NVIDIA's going ham. AMD is starting to go ham. Right now, we just went up to 204. I canceled my offer. We should have kept it there and kept the short. But right now, spin the damn thing, man. We are back. We take a day off, and we come back, and we drop a bomb. Right now, this is $1. We only have one trade. We're $1 in the money, and it's a bomber. So there it is. It's Apple. It's the #1 name on the sticky note. Man, we did a little bit of, self-reflection, and we said, it has to be Sticky Note Nation. So there it is right there. The only thing is I just went against my own rule again because if we sat there and didn't cancel our AMD short at 204 like I did, we would have another $1.50 in the money. But we did cancel it, so I wasn't sure what was going on. And there it is, man. AMD, we wrote down 204 here on the sticky note. It came in and I canceled. So my bad on that one. We are now out of at least 2/3 of this Apple trade. We'll go to Adair, and then we have a number in 3 minutes.
Yeah, with regards to the Binance situation, all I'm seeing right now is just that it's really, I just have Bitcoin up here. But basically, Binance, from what I'm seeing here, is just saying that some users are experiencing crypto withdrawal issues due to a technical error. So nothing new that I'm seeing on this yet. I'm keeping an eye on it, and I will let you guys know.
Yes, sir. And let's see what happens with, Coinbase is absolutely running on that, but I do feel as if, a little bit of a sympathy play like that, is that enough to punch it through the highs? BTC is still right at 68,000. We haven't even budged off that 68 level. Maybe we can take out that high. It just feels like it could be a little bit much here on Coinbase. It just put a wick in at yesterday's top at 236. If it can't break that 236 another push up, I would look to fade it. But I gotta get back over to Rivian. Rivian coming back in. If it takes out this high, I'm out. If it rejects that high, I add back into the short and just want to see what happens with this EV name. It's very different from Tesla. Yesterday, Rivian was tanking, and we were just taking advantage of the fact that Tesla was bringing it down with it. Very, very different here, as Tesla can't even get off the bottoms as we speak.
Yeah, different day, different market. This always happens to us here, where so I'm into Apple right now, which is fine. I'm only in one position. Should have been in.
Uber fell huge.
Uber fell? Okay, I want to buy that name more in my long term, so that'll be a good one. We should have been in AMD. So that was one talk there, 204. That is completely my bad. That's so stupid. Why write it down and don't take it? I just said that we were going to do that. All right, so the other names that we want to look at in case I have another fit. Amazon down here into 174. That didn't happen yet. Thank God for that, or else I would have lost my mind. And then Palantir. This is a good one. So again, someone in the chat is like, hey, Sean, you wrote down 172 or whatever for Apple, not 171, or I am sure 172 actually. So yeah, that's right. But it's going to be hard for Neil, myself, the professor, anybody, to be quite honest with you. And if you find somebody that can peg exact market opens and closing prices and stuff like that, please let me know. But the idea on here is Apple, right? Short. Right? We said no-brainer, first of all. That was the first part. So is it the #1 stock here today? Yes, it is. Is it a no-brainer? In my opinion, yes. So we've been looking short for weeks. Keep fading pops. Keep fading pops. So what did Apple do off the open, right? Neil has it. We both have it. Apple popped. Keep fading pops is what it says. So thank you for taking note in the sticky note, and we'll see if we can continue to fade pops or not right now. But the one pop that I will continue to look for is ARM, and it didn't get it to us. Did you? No, you didn't wind up getting in this. But ARM right here up to VWAP is where I'm looking. So if we could start a short in and around here, we'd like that a lot.
I'm getting offers out now.
Yeah, exactly. So I have offers out now on ARM. So if ARM rips up because AMD does another little dance there, we want to be there for that. But right now, man, we have one trade today. And like I said, you know, if the bomb is powerful enough, you only need to drop one of them. And this is what we did with Apple. So we're going to go over to Adara right now. It's 9:45. We're coming out with a PMI number. Let's go, Dara.
Just waiting for these numbers to come in here. We're expecting the S&P Global Composite PMI final and the Global Services PMI final. Global Composite, we're looking for 51.4 for the forecast. Global Services, 51.3. So we come in at 52.5 for Global Composite PMI final and 52.3 for Global Services PMI final. So both about 1 point higher here than the expected 51.4 and 51.3. So mostly higher here, or higher in general, for these S&P Global Composite and Global Service numbers. SPY not reacting too much to this right off the jump, guys.
All right.
BTC's just got through that 68 level and continues to go.
Ooh, it's all-time highs now then. Depends what exchange.
Close.
On Binance, I think this is all-time highs.
It's close. I don't think it might not be there. It's close. It's very, very close. Mara pulling back actually off of their highs. Just noting that. And Coinbase is the other one. Yeah, it could not break the top. They're actually rejecting that top. See, the Binance news plus Bitcoin. Coinbase tries to take out a 238 top and couldn't go. Yesterday, if you were going dip buy hunting, that was actually the better long in coin, was to buy the dips as opposed to taking breakouts. I really don't want to chase ARM to the downside. So this next bounce better give some fills in here in the mid 133 range. Because if this continues to stair step down, this is one you don't want to miss. NVIDIA is starting to roll back over as well. So I feel this ARM, this is going to be the chance on the next pop to be able to get this short. We'll see if we get it. Oh, the other thing I wanted to get to was GitLab. GTLB, it got up to 65 on an SSR bounce, and look at the big sell-off at the 65 level. That's a real wick. 64 into like 66 almost, and then right back to the downside. I think that's going to be your zone to look for the fade. GitLab on an SSR bounce, I think it's going to run out of some steam soon.
Because GitLab was one of those names that we wanted to look at earnings and talk about an earnings play. First of all, right now, let's just go, man. I mean, look what Apple's doing. Apple's an absolute monster to the downside. We're still going downside here. So Apple, I'm just going to sit in this one trade. You know, I'm going to get in more, but we're going to sit in this one for now. There goes Target. So we talked about this with Miss Shea. Well, we didn't talk about with her, but this is an example of a trade that we've talked about with option. And that is that when you get an extreme move to the upside. Now we sort of backtracked on that. I'm going to get out another piece here on Apple, just putting a bid out there, 63. There it is. We got it. And the reason, I'll talk about that in a minute. But it was expected 7.9%. When we were looking at it, it was 10 or 9.5%, something like that. So again, a nice move higher there. And then once you beat on the expected range, you can look for an extended move early. So that was something that we have learned on the market recap show and on our show here with Danielle. So that seems to have been working again there for everyone's favorite French department store, Target. Of course, it's the U.S. But there it is right now, down to 170.50. And this is a banger. So fade the pops on Apple. For some reason, it popped early. We talked about that, but here we go. So this is coming right into my boy's level, into 170. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people trying to get some shares here in and around that 170. So let's look and try to be careful about possible pops back up to the upside. I am bidding 170.42. I'm bidding 170.42 here. Neil, your favorite number. Let's see if it fills for me right now. And then
I'm looking at quarters.
Okay, I can change my number. There, give me it. Oh, again, we're just going to, there it is, okay. So we've been sort of getting it out all the way down. It looks like, yeah, I'm not going to do any more bidding, man, until we get to 170 flat. And then we'll wait to see what happens there. But so far, so good, man. One trade, and it is what it is. And then, like we wrote down on here, ARM, Apple, AMD, right? I mean, ARM is really starting to hit the, you know what, as soon as we talked about putting orders out at VWAP, well, yeah, VWAP, no guap on that one because it started to go down to the downside that play. So, all right, yeah, this is what's going on around here.
Yeah, actually, Gandalf, I actually had 205 as a hard line on AMD, so it wasn't quite close enough, although I have a wick up there. It never got anywhere up to that price. But the other short that I liked, you didn't get a chance at this unless you had it right off the open.
Oh.
Uber faded huge, and now I want the VWAP retracement on Uber. It was a fade off the 82 level, double top on the daily. We were watching it in the afternoon show as well. Lyft got an upgrade yesterday, and Lyft got an upgrade again today. So I want to fade back into VWAP on this name. ARM doesn't even want to bounce. It just broke. ARM just broke the low of the days again. So cancel those orders. It's just, what are you going to do? Like, yeah, you're not going to get those prices. And if we do, let's reassess. If it's going to hold through the bottom, I got to find new levels on ARM. And it's 130 is a bit of a flat bottom break on ARM. I don't want to take a 130 break down 4%. Next available pop is the way I'm going to go with this. I'm just going to monitor, look for the curl. If it's VWAP, instead of 133.5 to 134, that's more like 133 even, as this absolutely falls like a rock. I'm close to getting out of Apple here in front of 170. It just feels like it's too big of a 170. Okay, I just got out. It's the kind of level that I generally expect Apple to bounce off a level like that. So I'm going to ring the register there. Could be wrong about this, and maybe 170 goes and we're at 168 right quick. But I tend to think if it bounces, I'm looking for VWAP retracements in anything I like short. That's Uber, that's ARM, if we can even get that. Even Apple, I think we want to try that. Some strength over there in Tesla, however. This is going the other direction. Tesla showing signs of strength. I don't know how much I believe in that, but I didn't want Tesla short till it got into the 85 to 87 range. So I'll have to sit it out for now.
Oh man, I'm like, you know, we're not speechless or anything, but wow, yeah, Apple. I mean, if we're only going to have, like we said, one trade, let's put this name right into the gates of hell here today. We came in, even when I was driving in, I was just like, okay, think about how many shares did we want short on Apple? What did we want to do? What was sort of the plan of action here? And so we've really done it. We've done exactly what we thought we would do. And we got some out there in the 20s, we got some out in the 40s, we got some out in the 50s, everywhere here for Apple. Now let's just wait to see if we get a 170 break. We are now only in about 15% of that trade. So again, you know, you guys should know that if we only have one trade on, then we probably we're looking for that. You know what else we've been looking for here? And this is a lot of love in this spot. Yo, what's up, Mickey? What say you, Mickey, right now? What's up, Florida? Right now, Disney breaking out. We like this trade, and we like this trade a hell of a lot. We actually wound up having way bigger of a position than I thought that we were having. So that's why we kept on asking all about this name, man. What levels were we looking at with Disney? How was it looking? We were talking about this name down here at 80 bucks. We had first bought some in this range, man, 90s. We talked about it falling in. Of course, we didn't see, oh, look, I'm going to cover it up. We didn't see any of this, but when we fell in here into these levels, we thought we were going to be buying into here. Right, so here's 88, 90, so on and so forth. Then when we dropped down to COVID bottoms of 80, we bought more there, and that was a problem until it wasn't. And right now, you're seeing a nice move to the high side right now, trying to break out on Disney. Next stop, 120, and then I think we empty the clip a little bit there on Disney because this is way, way up, and like, I don't know, man. It's nice. And they've recently instituted a dividend, which is starting to pay too. So that's small, though, but that's pretty good. Okay, so here we go. Here comes Apple, man. We're bidding 170.05. It's at 170.10. So we're not going to miss this. We're just going to bid a 13, and we'll just take it right there. This has been a hot dog cannon right here. We'll go 2 times goal with one trade, and we'll just wait. We'll wait for more. This is, you know, sometimes you got to be confident. We really leveled into this name, and then it fell down. So, you know, this name worked for us. When you have an idea that works, me and Neil talk about this, it should be your number one trade. And it was the only one that really did exactly what we thought, although ARM was a good move as well. And then you know what else we wrote down? Just
ARM's coming back in.
I'm noticing that 132.50. We'll probably have to look at that. Another name that worked out pretty good was the Palantir Rip, but we never got that dip. So if Palantir can get into 23.50, we'd be right around there. Here comes Apple, man. We might smash this 170. I'm not even on the bid anymore. It's coming in pretty nicely right now. Here comes Apple, coming in real nice into 170. Are you smashing it or no?
It's a trade that I'll take.
Is it?
I don't know that I've ever seen a level like that I don't want to trade it the first time through, and then even the second time through. Maybe sometimes you try it like 3 times through a level like that, or you short the pops. I am on the offer to short the pop into 171, but if it never gets to 171, I mean, you know what happens next. But I am an ARM. It's just the first available pop off that 130 bounce, and it got to 132.5. VWAP sits at 133, so we're on there. I can't get Uber because Uber is not even. Let me just cancel this offer. I was trying to offer 79.5 on Uber to join this one to the downside, but just nothing yet on this name. If it goes back and forth, might get a chance to short this in the 50s. Does feel like it's going to give me that opportunity. NVIDIA is starting to climb back up. NVIDIA's held on to 950 really well here. So once again, NVIDIA... 850.
Oh, my God.
The market down 1.2%. NVIDIA is up and trying to hold green. If it starts breaking back out, which I'm not sure it's going to, if it does, it's worth watching out on ARM or any chip names if you happen to be in them.
Yeah, even the 900, even to be that close to 900, I was like,
It's
wow,
strong.
okay, like
So strong.
850, 860. Well, I mean, I knew it was 850. We looked at it earlier. Okay, so just going red now is NVIDIA. So watch out for this, because if NVIDIA is going red, then we got to watch out for AMD. But the thing is that I don't want to get too carried away here. There's still 204 coming through as a possibility. I'm still sitting up there. So if that flies in 204 for AMD, well, I have to be disciplined with it, man. It just broke 200. Neil and I were talking about the break at 200, and then it ripped back up into our 204 level and actually broke 204.
I think that's it now, Bitcoin.
Well, it's 68.7. I mean, here, look, I'll show it to you. So Binance, by the way, thank you to Miss Adara over there saying that it's fine. They're claiming withdrawals are all good. So here we go. Here's the daily. So I'm just going to show you what it shows me on Binance as its all-time high. So I guess we have to go over to a 1-week chart. There it is. So they have 69 flat on there. And we just touched right now 68,789. I mean,
yeah.
This is like,
You're
what do they
splitting
call
hairs
it?
at this point.
Splitting hairs, or one difference of whatever, negligible. But yeah, congratulations. Anyways, take a drink of water if you're a Bitcoin bull, because whoops, shoot, I just closed it. I have to open that up through history function on Chrome. But yeah, spot Bitcoin right now really bouncing. So good trade on that one, man. For anybody that's there, and then I know we will talk more and more about different coins as we go. I'll load up my CoinGecko, and then we'll look over some of those coins when I get a second. But for right now, Apple is making a move lower here into 170 again. Neil, I feel like this could be another bounce spot. We looked at this a lot of times. I remember
so
on the
annoying.
on the mid show last week, I looked over at Sharif, asked me about it, and I said, I think we should take 170 long. And then we looked back and it was at 170.80. Well,
it feels like 180 yesterday. If you were watching it 180 yesterday on Amazon, the amount of times we're like, hey, 180 Amazon, and it just kept bouncing off that level and was a short. This feels like the same thing. It's probably a scalp trade long off 170.
I was gonna say, I don't have
I'm not doing it, though.
That's exactly right. So I was
Pick a
gonna say,
direction
like,
off a level, and I'm trying to break it short, so.
Like I mentioned, that's what I was saying. I mentioned it to Sharif, like, hey, you got to go long 170, but it's hard to do that. I feel like a little bit nervous about taking that long right now. No, it's not. I'm not even worried about the slippage. I just don't know if it's the right trade. I don't know. Normally it is. It's just Apple. When you're thinking weak, it's tough to sort of get the other way, I feel like. So, okay, we'll just continue to watch it. I mean, hopefully it bounces off 170 for anybody looking long, but for me, I hope we tank. So let's wait. All right, my coin, I'm going to have to log in to see what's going on with my stuff, but my CoinGecko is not loading. But Ethereum making a nice move up. ETHE, I was hoping to get the exact price. I'll get it in a minute. But 33 right now for ETHE. This looking like, recent highs. Definitely 52-week highs here in Ethereum. Up 5%. Bitcoin 68.7. Pretty much new highs, where you look. So good trade.
And Mara's gone green here. That's what I have my eyeballs on. I'm looking at this consolidation. It's failed 26 like multiple times. Afternoon highs was like 26.40. I think this is what it's trying to punch through. I was long this in the afternoon. Well, if you're watching the show, it went like 15 cents for me, and then we stopped it up for like 10 cents. It was late in the day. There wasn't enough time for the move. But if this can hold on to VWAP and BTC does make that run at the high, I like the relief rally here. It was under so much pressure yesterday that I'm a fan of the relief rally. So holding VWAP looks pretty good. That's at 25.40. I'm just going to get a stop just in case it pops down in there and I get the long. My stop is already going to be in place to cover me. Thank you for the super chat there. Alice Baker. Who's Matt? That's what I want to know. Have you heard of Stonk Madness? I don't know. And I don't know what's up, Matt, but thank you for that. Thank you for that super chat. We appreciate you, but I don't know what you're talking about there. But we appreciate you guys.
He's trying to get some free advertising.
I know what's up. I know what's up. But we don't know what you're talking about. But at the end of the day, we appreciate all the viewers here. If I get Mara, great. I'm on the offer of Uber. I keep talking about the double top failure. I cannot get filled in front of VWAP on this sucker. I'm going to step down into the 40s and just try to wet the beak here because Uber is consolidating and I want to get that short. But we're going to get, it's 10 o'clock, so let's get into happening now with Adair. We got some numbers too.
Lots of numbers that we're waiting on right now. ISM services PMI, probably chiefly among them. Forecast here, 52.9. We're also getting factory orders month over month. We just got ISM services PMI, 52.6 versus the expected 52.9. Slightly lower than the estimate here. ISM services business activity, 57.2 versus 54.9, so higher than expected. ISM services employment, 48 versus 50.4, lower than expected. Services new orders, 56.1 versus 54 expected, so also higher. ISM services prices, 58.6, so lower than the expected 63. We also have factory orders ex transportation coming in negative 0.8% versus negative 0.1%, so lower. Also worth noting, factory orders month over month higher than the estimate here, negative 3.6 versus negative 4.9 expected. So lots of numbers coming in right here for the market. SPY not reacting too much to this, getting a little bit higher here. We were initially down about 0.5%, led by a lot of weakness in some of these mega cap names, including Apple, and also worth noting Tesla. Tesla now here down about 2.5% amidst a suspected arson impacting its Gigafactory in Germany. We also had some notes earlier this morning, right after the open from the factory head, saying that both power lines into the factory were damaged and that the outage will cost more than 100 million euros. So just some sobering updates there from that TSLA Berlin factory head. Also, GitLab here recovering a little bit, but still down about 16%. Earnings were strong. The forecast for EPS for both the quarter and the year were pretty weak here, sending GTLB to the downside, guys.
All
right, well, on that number, a few things happened. ARM broke VWAP, so I'm going to short it off the next level, which is the 134 level, but I got out of it. AMD just got to 5.
Yeah, it's right here right now.
So it's at the 205 level. Well, that life comes at you quick. And Apple back at VWAP, although I didn't get filled. Oh, never mind.
We just talked about getting out of that Apple and going long.
I was saying, like, I didn't get filled in Apple. Like, the second I talk about it, I do get filled on Apple. So the 05 level has come in there. I'm now short AMD on that. That was a big number. It was a big move on the number to the upside. It wasn't a big number at all. It was just a big move to the upside. So AMD is probably the one with a little bit of concern there off that 0450. It's back underneath. This is a relatively strong name. So on the way back into, let me zoom in so you guys can see better. That's my bad. On the way back in, I've got to respect pre-market highs at 202.75, and I got to respect VWAP in there as well. It's been a super strong name, so I'm going to take profits. You got to scalp when a stock you're going against the grain.
Yeah.
Apple 171 is holding. I got like 78s in there. VWAP sits at the even, so shorted the pop, got out at 70s. I said this was yesterday with Obi in the 180 level on Amazon. When it's bouncing off a big level, sometimes it's just a scalp trade. Apple was along at 170. I also have to fail. I got out, but was like, I only want to go one direction in Apple today. You probably could have just been all over that one. Long 10s, long 12s, and just scalped the you-know-what out of it.
That's all-time high right there, by the way.
All-time highs now. Let's go back to it. No, okay. Let's go back to Adara.
Yeah, worth noting here, some of these gold miners and these gold-related ETFs getting a pop here. Here's the Van Eck ETF. We also have this one as well, NUGT. The previous one was GDX. So a lot of these miners, as you can see, getting a massive pop in volume. These gold mining-related ETFs off those numbers that just came out there, guys.
Yep, there it is. I'm hearing it all over there, 69. So we just broke through Bitcoin. Congratulations, man. Floss it off if you are a Bitcoin bull because you win for now, man. 69,000. We could not be happier with that. All right, so we just got some ARM shares, right? So ARM just came in here. We're not trying to play too fancy with it. We got 134. We're going to get a piece out here on ARM. So right here, AMD's starting to go. So this is kind of where we thought we could get into the position, but bless you, but if we do break higher right now on some of these numbers, I mean, it looks like the market is trying to get going here. So we are short into AMD right here, right now. Our price is 30s. So it's just falling back in. If you're nervous, get the hell out. I am. So right there, 204.30. We just took another bid right there. We're up so far on AMD, but the market just made a nice move back up. And with Bitcoin at 70,000, I don't know if we want to be short like any of these chip names here.
Well, not quite 70, but you know, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Holy
I mean, well,
crap.
it's
Okay,
69.
that just came out of it.
Yeah, it's really starting to go. So right now we do have 50 cents in the money on ARM. So watch out for this one up to 135. That's going to be my out there. And guess what, man? It's Apple. And
it's back to 171.
Yeah, it's back up here to 171. So we just took another short.
So that dip buy on Mara, obviously I didn't get it. You can see I don't even have a long position, but the dip into VWAP did not happen for me. It broke it out. I guess I got to look at the 26. That's going to be the next level. I did reload Apple. If we bounce off 26 on Mara, I have a level 2 up to try to take that to the long side. Apple, bad wick,
Yes,
but we're
sir.
still at 171. AMD working as well. Back into the downside off that 205 level, and I am short ARM. The one that's against is going to be Uber as Randy comes through.
Ooh, thank you, Randy.
I haven't even finished mine,
That
but I've got
was
the
dandy.
heater. I've got the heater going, so my first one isn't finished just yet.
This one's not even that.
Want to see if I can pick
I
up
almost
that
finished.
bounce.
My first one's pretty much finished. There it is. Yeah, we did it. We did it.
What is this, Dora the Explorer?
Yes, it is.
We did it. We did
We
it.
did it.
Whatever.
No swiping, Neil.
Swiper, no swiping.
Okay, so here we go, man. There it is, man. Not only did we hit it once, we hit it twice, and now get it out, man. We are reloaded. Filled. We got filled there, so we're going to take some out right now, back into the 60s and 70s. This is a pretty violent name here. Watch out for 205 break on AMD. So again, we've been hitting the short with Apple and hitting it well, doing it and doing it and doing it well, LL Cool J style. But right now, you're seeing a nice move back up on AMD. So be very careful. As Dracula says, I don't know.
On 100% Queen, she was raised
Raised out in Brook, baby. Yeah, exactly. So here we go. 204 and change here on AMD.
I am going to take the bounce and run on Mara. Mara just wicked this top again. Look at the rejection above the quarters.
Oh,
on
this is a
Mara.
good move.
That is insane. AMD's starting to come back down, but I'm going to take the money and run on Mara. I just got in front of the 05s. In front of the evens on AMD, but it's higher lows, man. Each time you get into the top, it's a little bit higher. So when I see that, I note that the stock is relatively strong and then take the money and try to run. I still like that 203
dude.
level. We get down to 203, we're going to take it. Apple is back down to the evens. Make sure you're taking, I think 170 is a decent shot to bounce again. We saw it bounce once. I'm not going to be surprised if Apple bounces a second time through. So I'm getting a little bit more out here. Apologies for the wick there. I got a 184 wick that just won't go away. But I do think we get back down to that 170, so the shorts continue to work out here. AMD off the 05. That was my level this morning. I like the 05. I shorted a different level, but the 05 coming in nicely.
Guys, we have two trades today. The first one was Apple. The next one is AMD. Both Dollar Club winners right now. So there it is, man. And ARM. I mean, ARM is only 70 cents in the money, so I don't want to ring the register yet on a Dollar Club for that one. But hey, if we don't put a bid down for ARM, then we're never going to get filled. So let's put something into 132.60s. Let's put a bid down there for ARM. Look, we said we would wait for AMD, but AMD just fell hard there in. So we just got a 203 fifth. Remember I told you 203 lows? We were actually in the teens, but this just fell into the 50s there. So we actually took a bid at 54 and 77 as that just fell in. And then Apple's a dream, not the lucid dream. This is a trading dream today. As there goes Apple, man. We are really on one here today with our three trades, man. Apple short. Right, we talked about going short. I mean, it's right on the sticky note. And for everybody that's like, wow, man, like, why were we looking short? We actually talked about this right here on said note when we mentioned here. Market definitely weak here to start the day. Big economic week. Let's fade all this. What's up, Adara?
Interesting one here. NVDA Inc. This one, EVA is the ticker. So they came out this morning saying that they are no longer relying, or they're no longer relying on the accuracy of their first, second, and third quarter statements for 2023. So this could be a good sign, given that this was their quarterly sales report miss across the board for Q3. So if these numbers are inaccurate, could be a good sign here for EVA. They're falling off right now. They were up about 50%. It's also worth knowing they have a short float of about 10% here. So lots of interesting stuff happening here with EVA, guys.
EVA. As a nerd, the first thing I think of course, is when you step outside the ISS. By the way, I absolutely love the new show on Apple TV called Constellation. Pretty cool. Accident at the ISS. But we're going to go with this because the Combine just happened.
Yep.
And the guy that I wanted to go to the Buffalo Bills did really well at the Combine, so he's not going to go to the Buffalo Bills. But I'm out of AMD. 03, as I said, when it's trending up like this, higher low, well, that's the low, then higher low, and I'm short it 3 times. And then higher low into a resistance spot. So previous resistance to support, that's a target for me when a stock is trending to the upside. I'm going to take the money and run. So get the target, get the you-know-what out of Dodge. We had ARM twice, ARM off of 34, ARM off of VWAP. It's back underneath VWAP. I took one leg out as the market bounced off 18,000. That's the other thing we're forgetting to mention here. The Nasdaq is bouncing off 18,000. So when you're looking for profit-taking levels, keep in mind the futures were at a pretty big level as well. Down 1.4% on the Nasdaq, but bouncing off a key $18,000 level. Apple is back at 170. Is it going to break it this time? I don't know. It just got to 02s and didn't break it. I should do what I did last time and get out of the trade. I think there's a separate trade here as it gets through that even level. But shorting into VWAP is going to continue to work, I think. But that 170 doesn't seem to want to break just yet on AAPL. Thoughts on NEO, says Pirlo in the chat. You had to be Johnny on the spot to get any kind of a reversal trade on NEO. NEO plunged to $4.78 on an opening wick. And within 5 minutes, it was at $5.17 and is now churning higher. So NEO is flying after getting sold through a 52-week low in the $5 level. I'm not chasing a move up here on bad earnings on NIO. I think your chance at a bounce came and went with that up down at the $5 level. We'll let this one settle down for a bit here. But you had to pick your poison. We knew it would be some big cap techs.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, we just covered more Apple at 170. We got 170.11. So you know what I think it's time for? Let's just figure out what the hell's for lunch, because right now we've done well enough to try to figure this out. So, all right, today, what is for lunch? It's a little early, I understand that. I just want to let's let these shorts sizzle a little bit here. Well, if you said that you've had a couple chicken dinner winners today, then we'll hit this for you. We'll go 3 for 3. By the way, all 3 trades we've given today have gone $1 in the money. So without even going against us once, really. AMD, I guess, would have gone against us, a couple pennies. Today's barbecue glazed chicken breast. Not bad. We had, actually, my wife made this really sick. She put thighs in the oven last night, and cornflakes as the breading, cornflakes, a little bit of flour. That's really, really sick. That was really great. My kids were just like, mowing that down. Okay, barbecue glazing. Shout out to my lovely daughter.
Exactly like that.
Yeah, they're exactly like that. She was at the rink with my wife this morning, 6 a.m. Shout out. Barbecue glazed, 9 years old. Barbecue glazed chicken breast with herb roasted mini potatoes and a little bit of steamed green bean action. I am a fan of the green beans. So shout out to that. Look, I just hope you guys have been raising capital. We've been talking about, I've been raising it in the wrong names, so there's no doubt about that, by selling NVDA. But we've sold a couple other names, which has been pretty good as well. And now you can sort of sharpen your knife, because Apple's down here at 170. You're getting a good opportunity to do some damage there if you wanted it. And then, you know, other names. I think Palantir down there near this 23 is a decent buy as well if we can get down into that level. There's been a couple of good buys that we've talked about recently. We talked about possibly a shorting CrowdStrike off their earnings report. This was an idea given on the podcast on Friday. We talked about this one post-market March 5th. Already came out. So tonight we'll get CrowdStrike. We talked about this on the podcast on Friday. Short CrowdStrike. Well, you know where that was? You could have got it yesterday, 320. Today it's 290. Listen to the podcast, get some ideas. Are making a move back up though, so let's watch out for that. We are well out of many of these positions. So Apple right now, we have about 10%. AMD, we have less than 10% left. And then ARM, we still have two-thirds left on ARM. So I don't know, man. I was going to wait for 135, basically this pre-market bottom.
I got 134.50 is my out.
Is Pan W doing
Might
something?
be a distinction without a difference, but I am looking to reload ARM.
Yeah, Pan W, by the way, is actually...
Well, it was weak yesterday too.
Yeah, Pan W. So the call on Pan W, just because I see people in the chat mentioning it here a little bit. So again, you know, like we look real smart when you buy it here and it goes all the way up here. So the thing is that this is where we've actually talked about this, and I think it was it Wednesday or Thursday of last week? I think we had Chris Brecher on because he always bigs me up for all these Pan W calls. And he was like, oh my God, you nailed it again. And then we talked about if you're playing for a swing trade, the 200 up to the 50, sure, we extended a little bit higher through there, but that's a good trade, especially off earnings. Pan W has a lot of lawsuits and a few different interesting things happening behind the scenes. They're a huge growth name, which still a PE, I think it's in the 40s or 50s. So you got to watch out here for Pan W pulling back in again. So I still think it's another buy down here, but yeah, it's like basically a week of straight downside action there for Pan W. But remember what the Nasdaq's doing. You're also back down to 18,000. So, you know, this is also pulling to the 200 right now. We never had, this is on the 30, but we're not there on, here's the daily just to show you guys. We're not even, I don't think we're anywhere close to there on the daily, no. So, you know, if you're getting a little nervous about some of your positions, and you do think that a lot of these names are pushing down into some of these levels, you can get into cash and then wait for the NASDAQ to fall a little bit, because I don't think the NASDAQ's getting anywhere near the 200 period moving average. So anyways, something to look at. Maybe buy some ETFs if you get nervous about this dump and you're not sure where some of these names are gonna stop. But anyways.
Speaking of stopping, shout out to Andrew Adams in the chat. Thank you for the super chat
What's up,
there.
Andrew?
Asking if we could look at that AVAV again.
Ooh.
Yeah, and your defense name, because I mean this is the drone name that you were talking about in the pre-market, now up 25% on earnings and continuing to step up. It's not the most liquid name. It's done over 1 million shares, which is great volume on earnings. But look at that. There isn't even a red candle in sight. So not a heck of a lot to hate here. It's blue sky setup. You can see that out on the daily chart. If you are trading this, it's not. I don't think it's a day trading stock. I see a 70-cent spread right now, so that's a no thank you for me. But VWAP looks good in the 160 level for it to calm down a little bit. Speaking of calming down, Apple is doing that thing again at 170 where it bounces off of the 170 level. I think we get VWAP maybe one more time here. If 18,000 goes, nothing's going to matter. The shorts are just going to work. Oh, yeah, Uber. Before I get into this, Apple, if we break 170, personally, the next time I'm buying this stock, it's at the October lows. So middle of the day, I'm stink bidding this thing. Once we're off, I'm going to get ready for the lesson of the day, but I'm going to drop a bid in my personal account because I don't have one sitting out there in Apple. And if 170 goes, I want something out there at 165. I don't say it happens today, but I just want to be prepared for it. Uber back down into 79. It consolidated lower underneath 79.5. Did a bit of a wick shimmy when we had that economic number. I'm only short today, and I did have a long. And it was in Mara, but the second I saw that rejection back to 16.8, I just quickly got out of it. Said, whoa, that's a lot of rejection above 26.25. Did a wick once, it did a wick twice, and I jumped out of this thing. It looked strong for a hot minute. Sometimes you've got to know when the tape is telling you your trade is going against you. So I got out of that one right quick in Mara. Probably some better names to express longs in Bitcoin.
All right. I mean, if you don't like this, you're going to hear it 3 times. Once, twice, 3 times. It's a $3 winner off the sticky note with AMD. So far today, we have 3 trades. Apple. So look at Solana, though. You guys want to celebrate crypto, guys? Let's just props it up. Like, there's a reason why there's not reasons why these are the coins, but like Cardano 77, Solana 139, Ethereum 38. Like some of these moves that have been happening here, like, by the way, what the heck is up with Shiba Inu? I actually sold some Shiba Inu and went into USDC at 4.4. Like this is up 300% in a week.
Shiba?
Yeah. You know how much money I made on this stupid thing? Like I was looking at it like what? Like no, only because I don't have that much in it, but it's up 300%.
Yeah, I don't think I got it.
300% in a week. Anyways, congratulations. I don't know, what do you call people that hold Shiba Inus?
I don't know.
Sheebs?
Sheebs? Instead of sheeps, like
I mean, I'm a
sheebs?
Justin Biebs, but I got some sheebs going
pass.
on there as well.
That's a belief.
I am a believer and a shabelieber.
We know it's a believer.
But I did sell Sheebinu, so.
Ramin's like, it's a believer.
Yeah,
There's a
I'm
lot
a
of things that
believer.
we might not get, but come on, Ramin. Like, give us a little bit of credit. We know what that believer.
Yeah.
Like, that's an easy one. I want to acknowledge this. Thank you very much for a super chat. It was Tushar asking, PayPal forming a rounding bottom on the weekly. Kind of, I want to say. So, like, this is what you're getting at. Like, there's your bottom, like, rounding off after a higher low. I suppose so, but everything about this trend is still down, isn't it? Still lower highs. What it needs to do, usually for a break trend, is break out. Like, break that 50 period on the weekly, make a fresh high through 68. I'm a trend is your friend till the end when it bends. And speaking of which, we're going to go to the small cap recap, but back into VWAP here, I'm looking for re-entries into VWAP on, if we get it on AMD, we're not going to get it on Apple, but we can get one here on Advanced Micro Devices. But let's go to the small cap recap with Adara.
I have the IWM up here. Russell 2000 down here about 0.5% to the downside, forming a little bit of a double bottom here, but still very much weak on the day. Lots of these small cap runners to talk about though right now. EOS Energy Enterprises, EOSE is the ticker for this one. So despite a sales miss and weak revenue forecast, they did actually post an earnings beat, so smaller loss per share than expected. Moving to the upside for EOSE. Also worth noting here, they do have about a 24.2% short float, so that could be influencing this one on its way to the upside. We also have Airship AI Holdings, AISP. This one's saying that they trading higher after being awarded a contract with the Department of Justice for one of their video management and data management platforms. So nice look here for AISP. Last but not least, we have NRX Pharmaceuticals, NRXP. This one announcing the end of its phase 2B and 3 trial for its treatment for suicidal treatment-resistant bipolar depression. Also worth noting here, if the FDA approves this, they'll get some extra funding from their partners. So good look here for NRXP, guys.
Thank you very much there, Dara. And outages for Facebook and Instagram. Sharif just saying that Facebook and Instagram are down. I mean, I didn't see anything on Benzinga. I don't know if you heard anything there, Sean, but I mean, Meta did just make a $2 move to the downside, but the market's at the lows as well. So it's hard to attribute that. Like, I don't want to tell everybody, hey, Facebook is down or Meta's down because of that. This was already heading to the downside, independent of any potential.
No, I think it's a not refreshing feed.
But AMD just got back into VWAP. I got out and I'm jumping back into it. Gonna play the range. It's got this higher low off the 200 level, so I want to play this range back into the downside. We're short Apple, AMD, ARM, and Uber, but I'm back into AMD underneath VWAP. Should have mentioned NVIDIA. So remember I was like, yeah, we're in trouble if 850 can't hold on in NVIDIA. Spoiler alert, as my daughter is way up too obsessed with spoiler alert. She inserts it in places that make no sense these days. But 850 did not hold. No, it's actually dead serious. Like, we'll be reading a story, and then she'll be like, spoiler alert,
Well,
and then
does she have a spoiler for you?
No, she just turns the page.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, she reads me stories tonight instead of me reading it to her, and then she'll get to the bottom page, spoiler alert,
You're right,
flip the page and just sort of continue going. I'm like, what? That doesn't even make any sense.
This is why kids are the best, man. Kids are the best.
And that is, and the funniest thing is, I will die laughing. Like, I'll actually, I'll just start cracking up for no good reason. And then
at least she gave you the alert.
And she does it more because she thinks it's funny too. She's also completely convinced that she can hypnotize me.
She can. Can she?
No, I just play along with it.
Oh, you just play along with it, okay.
So she thinks that.
I was wondering if she learned some crazy potions. Kids these days, man, with AI and stuff, Neil.
Well, this was fast.
Apple is huge.
You're still holding it, you better be. 170 could break on Apple any second, but the scalp from VWAP to the fresh low on AMD just gave, in seconds, $1.25. Like, that wasn't a matter, okay, fine, it was like a minute, but it's seconds. We'll take it. ARM is, though, here, like, if there's one name, I'm going to get back into AMD off VWAP if I get a chance, but ARM, look at the barcode, 34 to 3280. So if it gets back up here, this could end up being a breakout. I don't think this is one that I want to fight if it breaks that top. shoulder weakness, if you're showing...
A name that all of us have been looking at here. We talked about this in the pre-market, that we didn't like it. I talked about no more bids at all for Tesla, not averaging into this one. We mentioned some lower levels, 60s, 50s, but there it is right there. Look at this off the 200 period. I mean, how good was that? 184 and change. I didn't write
my chart, guys.
I didn't write down Tesla today, but here it is right here. So I just want to show it to you. This is multiple minutes here, Fabster. Right there, yeah. 184, boom, boom, boom. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. You got 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. Who's got 10 minutes? How about 12 minutes? How about 15 minutes of straight red candles down to the downside before finally finding some momentum maybe down here at 179.
Just
so
a quick heads.
Tesla or tails.
If you're having issues with the stream, just try refreshing it. Like mine seems fine. A lot of people in the chat have been saying it's been doing that buffering thing, but mine looks okay. And I was able to refresh. So you just jump back in. Bears versus Bulls all over it in the chat.
That's our bad. Our trades are way too hot fire. The line is having some problems. So we'll try to slow down the hot fire here and get ready on that one. Amazon downside?
Everything downside.
I don't know. If Amazon's downside, I don't want to buy it.
Is it AVAV?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, AVAV. Yeah, that was a good one. Thanks for that super chat. But yeah, Amazon's coming in. We said we want to wait for 174. So I'm actually still bidding 174. So if Amazon does come in.
You want irony?
You will see that. Yeah.
So here
goes Apple.
My bad side. Apple's breaking right now.
Broke.
Okay, I got 99.
Did you get it? You short?
Yeah,
okay,
but there's an iceberg at 90. That was weird. There's an iceberg at 98. I don't think I can't remember the last time I saw that. But I was just showing you, this was my bad trade of the day.
Stream is really bad.
Which was basically a perfect area to have shorted, but the wrong time to have done it on SoFi. But there are issues with the stream. Apple just broke the 170. This will be hard to say. We're going to go to a dare at the desk, but Apple broke the 70s. My average price is going to be 21s, but that's because I just got some underneath 170. Let's go to Adara.
Yeah, just the crypto update here. We do have MicroStrategy worth noting to the downside, despite we are going to talk about that strength in Bitcoin in a moment here, but MicroStrategy continuing to fall down almost 10% after announcing the proposed private offering of $600 million of convertible senior notes due 2030. These are going to be to finance the purchase of more Bitcoin and also apparently for some corporate spending reasons. So big move to the downside for MSTR, but not so much here for BTC. Now we're kind of falling below that 67 area, just touching that 67. But earlier today, we did touch 69,000 for the first time in the history of Bitcoin. So nice look here for BTC and for a lot of these other crypto-related names, though not MicroStrategy. But also worth noting, Ethereum here up over 6%. This one well above that 3,700 area, now 3,770. Solana up 3.5%. Dogecoin up 6+%. Shiba Inu at almost 30% to the upside. But Cardano here feeling a move to the downside, down about 3+%, guys.
Yeah, she didn't mean to say that about Cardano. But right now, it's a coin. It's a nice trophy day there. I was going to talk about Coinbase, but I actually was bidding Apple 169.75 just because this is from before, and it just filled. That's my bad. I should have been way more paying attention to my pending bids and offers, but we'll take it. I could get back into the short right now, so that could be something that I'm looking at very soon here, would be get back into the short here for Apple. But we're going to wait for a 50 period. It's like I said, this has been a really good day, and we're just really happy that all of you are here, because you know what just happened again? All three trades now officially have gone more than $1 for us. So we're $5, $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 in the money on AMD. ARM right now is $1.40 in the money and still going to the downside. So that's a good one. And we just took $3 or whatever on Apple. Short 250, sorry. Out there, 169.75. So 225 right there on Apple, 450 on AMD, and a buck and change here on ARM. So yeah, today is a pretty good day, and glad to be back. Nice and refreshed here, and starting to kick some butt, man. We had a great draft. The Hyde Park Jets are going to absolutely dominate this year. We came in second last year out of 8. We'll see if we can do it again. But yeah, okay, wow. Apple down into 170, ARM down in, AMD, guys, looking to take down 2 bills. So this should be a fun little ride here, man. This is a crazy, yeah. everybody there in the chat. What's up, Tobias and everybody out there, man? It has been a crazy good day. I just hope it's been a good day for you.
That's why this sucker got changed to a bear today.
Yeah.
I said yesterday I was like, no, I need to be convinced. The way that we said this in the afternoon, right at the end of the day, the way things sold off in the afternoon, I had a feeling we were going to be a little bit bearish. And if you were watching along, things got really heavy at the end of the day. Although it's weird because ARM was one of the weakest names yesterday in the afternoon, and today, I'd say it's actually holding up relatively well, air quotes. I'm back into Apple, but you'll see a new price that's at 98. So I'm now out of the reload on the shorts at 171, and I'm back in underneath 170. I'll give it about the 10s. If VWAP is still the jam for this stock as far as I'm concerned. Uber, that's kind of trying to break down at the low of the day here at 78.70. If you go out to the 15-minute chart, which I always say when in doubt, zoom out, there is some support at 78.5, but the bigger level is 78 even. Market continues down. I'm shooting for 78 even on Uber. Short 79.5. It failed a double top, which was making us look short. Double top on the daily, which was making us look short. But I didn't get short till it consolidated lower. It's exactly what happened yesterday for a few of the short trades. You don't get that initial flush, just short it where you can. If you don't get that first breakdown, all you can do is move on to the next. And wow, that was a pullback on BTC. Like 69 on a dime. On a dime, 69,000.
Watch out,
you don't
man.
see that very often, but technicals seem really good on BTC.
Yes, sir. I like the fact it's being treated like a stock. We've talked about that a couple times there. You can really look at some key levels. And that's the best thing about having these ETFs. One of the best things is that you can trade an IBIT or a GBTC or ARCB or pick your poison, doesn't matter. Look at the levels and not have to worry too much about Binance being down, Coinbase being down, all that kind of stuff. So watch out there. But people have brought to my attention that there are benefits, positives and negatives about these Bitcoin ETFs. So we often will just look at them one way, but I think they're positive. So okay, here we go. Apple, I'm reloading. Okay, so here we go. Whenever we can hit these little GIFs, we try to do that. Okay, we are reloaded, but I just want to tell you, I am not really that much reloaded. So if your clip can hold 6 shells or whatever, we're 1. We are not reloading this thing too seriously. Okay, we've had some monster shorts here today, and we did our rules. Like, we got the fade early, then it worked, bang. Okay, then it came back to VWAP, it worked. All right, now now we can short against 170, so that's what we're doing. But we're gonna watch out for the 50 period. If it gets back into VWAP, then we want to put it back. So we're gonna have to watch out for that one. And again, the AMD, we have like 5% left. So this one we talked about, and I was here, put up the hand, here I am. We talked about 203, that I thought this was gonna be a good level. So we got out of a piece there, and happy to do it, but we're not holding a big piece there. So like, just telling you about that. And then ARM, we can't do better. Here, we haven't hit this yet today. ARM, we've talked about it dropping into 133. It does that. That's $1. We took it out. We only have a third left. That's what we're doing. Volume weighted average price. Shout out to Poppy. What's up, Poppy? Right there. What is VWAP? So we have some videos out there. Type in tradertv.live VWAP. It'll take you right to there. But volume weighted average price, it's just another moving average.
That's it's in that family, and it's a popular one. But I think we have 2 videos on it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think there's a bunch.
It was our first. I know it was our first educational video
I'm not getting intel
on the other channel. I've had to cancel a couple of orders out there that were just simply not going to get short given what the market's doing. But VWAP just came in again on AMD, and I did miss this curl. It bounced off 201.90. Last time it got to 202.10. I tried to grab it on the way down, but did not catch it. If I can get it, I will try. Tisha asking us to go for AISP. I will in a quick second, but I wanted to bring your attention. We know Target went today on earnings, but forgot all about Walmart at $60. Remember 180 on the daily chart after the split? That's the $60 level. Walmart broke it out, wicked underneath, and held, and is now trending to the upside. If the market brings this back in, 60 is now VWAP, and I want to go long out in front of 60. on Walmart. Just wanted to make sure I said that. It's 10:40. We can start to chill out a bit here, but it was a strong name that I liked. AISP. Let me just quickly find something on this airship. What's the float here? 23 million floats, so it's a low float name, maybe not like under 1 million shares like some of the other crazy ones, but it's a relatively low float name which is breaking out in a big way. So you can see $2.60 on the chart here. Faith, can we come to the chart for a second? There we go. The 260 already broken out off that level, but look what happened. So broke out the top, held at 260 level, which is the key level on the daily, and is stair-step to the upside. So I do like the hold. I think if it can hang on to VWAP, look for longs off the 3, maybe giving it to 280. This is probably one that I'm going to make an assumption Sharif will be interested in. AISP there off of VWAP. Yeah, he's hitting the bank, so I'm assuming that is going to be true. Looks like it's right up into that's right in his wheelhouse for sure. So Apple's right back at the 170 level. We were talking about Meta with the possible outage there. Didn't really confirm whether that was true or not, but some people saying they could log in, some people couldn't. But everything is rolling to the downside. It's just a matter of what you decide to pick. The chips worked. The only stock that failed for me on the short was I got wicked out on SoFi. It was right to short the pop, but sometimes you're just in too early and the timing is going to be bad. But the way that I trade, I'd rather take that hit and try to find the way back in than just fight it, because what if it goes all the way up to 8.3, 8.4, and I'm fighting it the whole way and it ruins your day. Remember, what you risk on a trade is how much you are paying for the winner. And if you pay too much for something, it doesn't matter how good it is if you pay too much for it, right? So if you pay too much with losses for your winning trades, then they don't matter at the end of the day. So you have to have an out somewhere. Mine was a bad one. I'll stop the fail on SoFi. Hopefully somebody was able to hold on to it. Sean just went up to grab either a coffee or go to the can. So I know there's questions about Palantir for a long. I'm going to make the assumption it's at support. Close enough. It's not there yet, but this is where I think people are getting interested in it because it had this little hook support at 23.5. I tend to think the support is down around 22.8 to 23 because this is your wipeout bottom recently. So there's your 2280 level. There's your wipeout bottom that got rejected and back up, and then it holds a higher low at 2280. So I kind of have $22.80 as support on Palantir, but I can understand why you might be looking at it as it gets closer to 23 even. But yeah, not for me, but maybe others. We'll get Sean's opinion when he comes back. But let's get to Sector Watch to see what is not tanking with Adara.
There actually are some sectors here with a bit of strength. Clearly not these tech sectors, though. Electronic technology and technology services both massively to the downside, but it looks like technology services feeling a little bit more from Uber and Tesla here. But also worth noting, health technology a little bit more mixed here, but quite a bit of weakness. Eli Lilly to the downside here as well, with the FDA saying that the Mounjaro injectables will be a little bit harder to get a hold on. There's going to be more limited supply in early March 2024, according to Reuters. So a little bit of Mounjaro supply issues affecting Eli Lilly to the downside here today, guys.
Only 2%.
Yeah, we'll be buying some Eli Lilly if that stock goes anywhere lower, for sure. If there's one dip news, if there's one, I just saw someone say any news on Dell. Any dip opportunities there for Eli Lilly? I feel like that's
what's crazy?
That's the one for me, for sure.
The 50 period is $100 away.
I know.
It's $100.
But look at the market, though. The market's 50 period.
I know, like it's...
Oh, 50 period.
The 50 period on the daily chart
that's way
is not till $677. I also would love, I mean, I have taken...
We are really tanking here, by the way,
level, and the market's tanking. We're only short right now. But yeah, you start thinking about stink buys. Shout out to everyone in the chat that mentioned we're looking for some relative strength. Alibaba is up and trying to put in a higher low. It closed at 72. It's trying to bounce off 72.
Ooh.
So that looks, and VWAP is also 70. That's the other thing. VWAP is also 72 here. Even Baba's got a wick on it today.
I like Alibaba there. ARM now back into the dollar club, so that's a cash cow right there. We did not reload it, though. And I got to make sure I don't have any more bids on this name. Let's just see how far ARM wants to go, right? Like right now, there goes AMD. Now it's an officially, my bad before. We'll put some diamond hands on it because we have it. And it's still, the position that I'm holding is still a huge net-wise for me. But It's could have been a lot more spicier than where we are right now, but it's a nice move regardless. Upside right now, so we'll take this, man. Nice downside move for AMD, upside for the net. As there goes AMD breaking through 2 bills. So I'm hearing in my ear as well. The professor reported earlier that, yeah, perhaps Instagram and Facebook are down. I'm hearing that as well. And then I'm also hearing that there are problems with the internet in general worldwide. So that would sort of play with our YouTube. Yeah, long
They're
cyber.
all tanking.
Yeah, exactly. So long cyber right now. But anyways, the idea there is that if your YouTube, what I was getting at is if your YouTube was down or something, please keep refreshing. On our end, everything looks fine. So we'll go for some news to Adara.
Yeah, down detector here. Just some more details on that Meta-related potential issue here with the Facebook shortage. Down detector saying that over 300,000 Facebook outages have been reported. A little bit less so for Instagram, about 47,000 outages reported for Instagram. That's from down detector. If I see anything else, I will let you guys know.
We were just saying, like, how are cybersecurity's names getting killed so much? And I said it's because it's not working right now. So, yeah, we have the best software in the business. Well, sorry about that, but your software.
Look at Fortinet down.
Yeah, 5, same as Pan.
But look at the chart on it. It's not as if this isn't like one parabolic candle to the downside. Like that is like uniform selling. I don't even know if that's the right word for it. Ooh, yeah. Did I just get trailed out? Yeah. I trailed, because ARM right here, I just trailed it to VWAP. This is looking sideways, wipeout bottom, a little bit strong relative to the others. So one of these things is not like the others. I'm taking the profit on that one. Uber also came back. We talked about 78 as an out. It just got to 78, so we'll ring the register on that one as it flushes to the downside. I like to have targets on some of these bad boys. And the reason for 78, just go right back to where this thing broke out last week. Broke out right here. On Thursday, broke out at 78 and on the way to that 82 top. So I'm out at 78. I'm going to look for a reload. I like the short still. If we get back into 79 and VWAP, we go rinse and repeat on you, Uber. So pretty much everything that was a planned trade today ended up working. SoFi, I'll take the L. It was a good idea, and the price and the area and the time was correct. Except for the fact that it was pre-market instead of right at the open. Should have just done it 5 minutes later. And I am in Alibaba right now. So we do have a second long today. And shout out to the chat for mentioning that Baba was relatively strong. And it's holding VWAP. 72 is a key level on the 15-minute chart. And it happens to be VWAP. You can see it kind of going sideways here. I got 10s, 11s long in front of 72 even. We'll see how far this can go. Whether the market bounces or not, the good news is the Chinese ADRs might be able to go and do their own thing, which can be a bit of a benefit. So the market could continue potentially to tank, and then Baba could still end up being okay.
All right. Again, thank you everybody for watching, man. Just please hit the like button, hit the subscribe, all of that, man. I feel like, I know yesterday's show was probably awesome with Obi, but like I feel like today's show has really been a good one. We've had a lot of good ideas, a lot of interesting news pieces coming through. We've looked at crypto. We haven't really traded too much crypto, but we definitely have talked about some of our opinions here on that. My opinion on Apple is own, don't trade right now. So I'm in basically a feeler here. I'm going to take some more at 20. At 20, I put it at 22. I guess, is that like right where this 50 period is right now? Why did I choose that exactly? Again, pennies will become important. Yes, that is where the 50 period is. Pennies are like important to me, but they really shouldn't be important to you unless you trade like this. All of us. So right there, 170.23. Yeah, you can bring Jeff Mendel right over here. I haven't talked to this guy coming through right now. All right, so 170.25. You just tell me when he's ready. We're ready to rock and roll, man. Good friend, Jeff. Is he ready? You'll let us know. Okay, I'm always ready. That's the problem, you know? It's like, let's go. I see him waiting in the wings. I want to talk to this man immediately. No, 170.50 there. I like Apple. Anyways, a playback to VWAP is what I'm concerned about. So if we break above 170.75, we're out. So if the market starts to battle back here, it's been a monster day. So we're really happy with the performance. We may not get into anything else, especially here as we talk to Jeff. So just quickly before I go back over to him, we are going to stop out if this breaks above like 170. Let me just put it in right now, 170.75. Okay, if we break above that on Apple, we'll get out, but we're going to average it in. Without any further ado, Neil, we have a very, very important and special guest joining us right now. Mr. Mendel, how are you, my friend?
Sean, good to see you, man. Good to see you. I don't get to talk to you directly these days that much. You know, you're a busy man.
Yeah, well, we're trying around here, but you're also a very busy man, and including today with the OTC markets. We've been trading. I've been looking at a little bit of DD today, doing about 2.4 million shares. Isn't too bad, but you know what I've been really impressed with, and you still got this over there, is your grayscale product.
Yes.
Ethereum is really starting to go up another 5% here as Bitcoin hits all-time high. Ethereum's still going. How are the inflows looking over there with ETHE?
All right, listen, there's a ton of volume. It's funny. It's like you guys are mentioning not trading much crypto today, but you know, I'm seeing a decent amount of activity. It looks like ETHE is the most actively traded name so far today on OTC markets from a dollar volume standpoint. Right, it's up about 5%. Actually, let's see, what is it?
We have the website up here. Neil has it.
Yeah, it's up about 5% right now. You know, this is one of the grayscale names that's still trading over here at OTC Markets, right? The only one that moved up was GBTC. You know, another name to look at too is Ethereum Classic as well too, ETCG. Not as much volume trading in this name, but still, you know, a decent amount. ETCG is the other one. Then also BCHG as well too. It's the Bitcoin Cash trust. So grayscale Bitcoin Cash. This one traded about 750,000 shares so far today as well too. So you know, a few good names to look at with the grayscale products.
Yeah, I mean, look, ETHE, with everyone sort of looking at what's next, right? Like the volume is really picked up, and I want to highlight when you're going to the OTC Markets page. Sometimes like dollar volume matters, share volume matters, but like the number of trades can really give you an indication of the activity. You can see up there ETHE just outpacing everything. Of course, TCHY, always one of the leaders there, and Luckin Coffee as well. But here's my question for you: like as things start to pick back up and you get this enthusiasm in ETHE. Like, are there some other, we kind of always forget about some of the new listings that might come down or move back and forth. Is there anything else on the radar that may have come over recently? Or are we sleeping on a Luckin Coffee, which I feel like every single day is doing a ton of volume? Because those names that are ADRs are those Chinese names or sometimes Japanese names with the markets going going crazy. Are we not talking about those enough? Because during U.S. hours, you can't trade a lot of those Asian markets without looking at these OTC names.
Yeah, totally. You know what? So a couple different names that kind of come to mind too, right? So you have Luckin Coffee, LKNCY, and also DIDIY. They actually have no local listing over, you know, they have no local listing, right? And so these are weird. They're the 5-letter Ys, so they look like ADRs, but you know they're trading here, right? And so you know these are pretty. I think these are pretty like popular companies over there in general, right? Like especially Luckin Coffee, right? It's it's kind of all over the place. Lots of different what are the vending machines right? So you know it's a pretty well known brand over there. And really, OTC Markets is the only place to actually trade this name. And so, you know, lots of activity going on in this name all the time. You know, another Chinese ADR that I want to highlight. The funny thing is, you know, I turned on 60 Minutes a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about BYD, right? So BYDDY trades on OTC Markets, electric car company, and one of the things that they do. Right, so that's trading around $48 right now. Right now, there's a bid at 48.76. So another really good company to look at, and you know if there's any movement in China, also in the electric car segment as well too. BYDDY, another really good one to look at.
Yeah, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say, because Sharif would get mad at me, vertically integrated BYD that does, like, if Warren Buffett likes them, and they've been absolutely winning all over the world. And this is an important thing. Like, you're not trading this somewhere else other than the OTC. The other one I think worth mentioning might be something like a Nintendo. Right, like if Nintendo has earnings and you're looking for sort of Japanese play,
and then Nintendo's a good one, right? So I think there was just an article in Bloomberg with what I think they're calling it the Samurai 7, right? So there is everything. A lot of stuff is going to Japan right now. I'm actually bringing it up right now, but a lot of the names in that article actually trade here on OTC Markets. So. We'll bring this up real quick.
I mean, if we don't like charts that look like this, I don't tell you. But Jeff, everyone's coming up with these silly acronyms, like the Samurai 7, the Magnificent 7. There was one for what the heck was the European one? Granolas. Granola. It was granola. Maybe no S on the end of it.
Something
but again, like it just plays to if you can only trade the ADRs or the OTC listed names for some of these stocks, you want to take advantage of them because that's what's out there for you. Nintendo looks fantastic, but that whole market doesn't.
Yeah, no, it's another great name. It's a global brand, right? Trades here on OTC Markets, and it's something that's always kind of got a lot of recognition. And now, with more and more names, kind of spiking over in Japan, right? Just more kind of things to look at.
All right.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, anything else you want to touch on here, Mr. Mendel? Because I still got to ask you, for the next time you're here, we still got to take you up on going out to hit some links. And I think that we'll be doing that. Neil will come as well.
I'll drink.
Yeah, you'll drink, okay. And Jeff will pay. Jeff will pay. But no, thank you again for hopping on here, Jeff. Anything else catching your eye right now, or anything you want to say to the viewers?
Yeah, I mean, look, we kind of hit everything, right? It's funny. It's like you guys were like teeing it up. I was watching the show a little bit before I came on. You were talking about Chinese ADRs and in the crypto market. And so, that's where all the action is right now. And so, if you're looking to jump into names that have a lot of activity, right, that's where it is. And, you can go to our stock screener on our website at otcmarkets.com and kind of check it out for yourself, just because, we only talked about a few names on here, but there's many more. As well too. So otcmarkets.com, you can go to most active, you can go to the stock screener and kind of come up with ideas on your own to jump in and trade too. Yeah, right there. So stock screener, it's a great way to kind of do it. You can look at markets, you can look at countries, you can really kind of narrow it down from there. And so, always a great resource to kind of go and check out.
Yeah, no, I have that page open all the time. So thank you, Mr. Mendel. I also noticed that there's also Litecoin as well over on your LTCN. So let's not sleep on Litecoin. You brought us classic Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash. Mr. Jeff Mendel, have a good one there. I'm sure the weather's fantastic where you are. It's gorgeous here as well. So soon we'll be out and we'll see you are you coming to Toronto anytime soon or?
Well, we're going to have to figure that out pretty soon though, but maybe wait until the weather's a little nicer so we can get outside the office.
Sure,
probably in like a few weeks the way it's going these days.
When you're here,
I know, next week, right?
Well, we'd love to have you back in the office here and live in person.
100%.
So we're really excited. Thanks for hopping on short notice, Jeff.
Shout out, actually, there's the PDAC conference going on in Toronto right now. But we got a couple of my coworkers are up there right now. That's more for the issuer side, right? So big Canadian issuer conference going on up there in Toronto right now too. So get a lot of the names that are on TSX and TSX Ventures and the CSE up there right now too. So make a little shout out to some of the other exchanges up in Canada too, which you can also trade down here in the US.
We'll always take a shout out. Oh, Canada. We appreciate you. Can't wait to have you come up here. As we always say, head of broker-dealer sales. We'll give your title in there every now and then at OTC Markets. Check them out. Lots of opportunities to trade crypto, ADRs, Asian markets. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there. Well, that breaks us.
It was like the Jeff bounce. Not even.
Yeah,
It wasn't.
He
much
doesn't
of a
have the
balance.
power of Frank apparently on here. But
Yeah, what, we got like what 20
we went
points
long
on the
Amazon.
futures?
Yeah, we took a little bit of money there. I put in the chat there that we put Amazon came into 174. So, you know, we have, well, what's my price? 20s? I don't even know what it is anymore. 23s. We got a piece out at 43 or something, but it's coming back in right now as Apple continues to make a little bit of a move higher. We have not reloaded. Although it's gonna look like we've taken shares, we're still waiting. I told you the plan. We're waiting up here at 60. So we have taken some shares. We're actually waiting at 70s. Like 70 is my out.
If
70s.
you want 65, right?
Yeah, so somewhere yeah, exactly. So that's exactly what we're doing. We're gonna wait into here. If Apple rips into the 60s, and so the reason why we're being patient with this is we've already rammed it there. We hit it great. Like this was a risky trade because it was right off the open, so for sure. But, you know, that was a good one into VWAP. We'll see if we could do it again. We're just taking some shares here in case we get that move down. The market is still under 18,000. So I still like the short. We wrote it down here on the sticky note at Trader TV, Sean. We said this market is weak today, and we only want to go short, except for Amazon, which we would wait for 174, which came in, believe it or not. Like, we were talking about waiting for 174 when the market opened at 177. That's how weak we thought the market could be today. So it's nice when it works out. It's not when it doesn't. And for right now, we're just going to have to wait to see what happens because it's 11 o'clock. And the market is just trying to figure itself out right now. So we'll have to wait to see what happens here as this gets a little lower.
Yeah, looking for some VWAP plays here. It is 11 o'clock already, so we're going to get on over to trade. But just a couple of updates. I did have, like Alibaba, first time off VWAP, bounced, got the 11s long into 72.36, so got 25 pennies there. I just reloaded it, but if it doesn't hold on, the market's been pretty weak. If we don't hold the 72 level, reload and we'll just get out of it. AMD is right back into VWAP. It's pressing, looking for a call. I missed this reload underneath here, but if it does another wick shimmy, whatever, I think that's what I'm supposed to call it. A little wick shimmy at VWAP here. I'll look for the curl on AMD once again. So I'm out of all my shorts that I covered. Uber recovered at 78. Apple will get back into VWAP. I'm looking for the reentry in AM Dizzle as well. And it's now 11 o'clock, and guess what? The lesson today is an apt one. It's kind of a school word. It's shorting range breaks, I think. So learn to trade. We got the professor and Adara, and on a day where the market is down, I feel like it's a pretty good topic.
4 for 4.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show.